Hello, my darlings. Hello, my darlings. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing rather well. Fucking hell, there's a ice cream truck outside screaming. Oh, shut up. Okay, hold on. Okay. Oh, God. This guy will not stop. Okay, I hope you guys are not I hope you guys are not too disturbed by the background noise, because there is a background noise of a ice cream truck, and I do love ice cream. But today I am on day what are we on, day 2, 3, I am on my 4th fasting day. So yes, I haven't eaten all day. Well, I did have a celery stick. I do have to admit I've had celeries, actually a couple of small half-cut celery sticks. So yeah, so that's happening. And other than that, yeah, it's an absolute kick in the teeth to be not eating all day, but you know, gotta keep doing it until my body acclimatizes and I get used to this stupidness. But for now, I mean, we will have Aimeeeeekins soon. Aimeeeeekins will be joining us soon, but for now we are I'm running this thing as a little intro until Amy gets here. She's just getting a coffee, and today is an Aimeeeeekins show, so everything is positive, everything is nice, everything is happy, at least for the most part, because Aimeeeeekins is my happy place. It's where I go when life has been shit, because Amy is so she's just such an upbeat person. She's just an upbeat, happy person. Now, if you don't follow Aimeeeeekins on Instagram, I recommend you do. If you are on Instagram, go on Instagram and follow Amy. Her Instagram is, I believe, Aimeeeekins. Let me see if I can. I don't know actually if she wants me to show her Instagram or not. Well, I mean, her Instagram has several thousand followers, so I presume she's okay with it. It's a public. Actually, no, she's got 720 followers, but nevertheless, I think it's a public thing. She's not privated it in any way, so I would presume she would be happy with promoting it. So let me just quickly switch over for you, boys and girls. Oops, not that. What is that doing? There, kids. That should be hither. Okay. Yep, there it is. That's Aimeeeeekins, or Aimeeeeekins is as she is on Instagram. Aimeeeeekins with an underscore at the end. So yeah, go follow Aimeeeeekins, because she is awesome. And there's Aimeeeeekins playing some guitar, doing the guitar thing. There you go. You rock it, girl. Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. That's right. Generally, she does amazingly crazy things on her Instagram. Wow, flat stomach. That is very flat. And then there's also other nonsensical stuff like this, which is awesome. I see this all the time on her show, on her Insta. This guy is just a legend, just absolute legend. He's so good with the eyebrows. But anyway, yeah, Amy's Instagram is awesome, so go check it out, and see all sorts of craziness, all sorts of things like shit like this. This is so
Does
funny.
It only work?
Whores in this house. We have whores in this house.
I'm looking for that.
Does it only work?
I'm looking for that filter. I can't find that filter. I don't know where it is. I'm looking for it though. It's awesome. Whilst in the meanwhile, while we're you know, filling time, I guess, until Amy gets here. Yep, Amy is not with us yet. Whilst we do that, I just want to... where is it? I just want to shill a little bit of advertisement. If you do not know about the Banksy style spreadshirt, the link is in the underpants section below. Go, and where you can find now this new mask design. It's to show people that you're smiling underneath the mask, because I am actually going to get this for myself. I was going to make it for myself because I smile at people and they don't know that I'm smiling because I'm wearing a mask, so they just give me a really bad look. I don't know if you've experienced such a thing, but if you have, then go get the Banksy Smile shirt, Banksy Style Smile shirt, where you can show everyone that you are smiling. Yes, you are. Of course, on the Banksy Style, we also have it in bags, we have caps, and we have all sorts of other funky designs. Some are quite psychedelic. This wasn't actually mine. Someone did it for me, a wonderful person, and passed it on. And I thought, sure, I'll stick it on my merch. Now, there's a lot of merch on here, I have to admit. I think I may have to reduce some of the amount of stuff that I have on here. There you go. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds, or good works. The Persians message across the world. So you got that. You got all sorts of crap. You got all sorts of crap. So yeah, go buy my shit. That's our logo. That's our catchphrase. Buy my shit. Buy my shit. Don't feed your children. Buy my shit. There you go. You can see you can have Banksy style on t-shirts, on women's tank tops. I mean, women's tank. Look at how gorgeous this fuller figured lady looks. Clearly, Spreadshirt is an all-inclusive place. They wish to include all people of all shapes and sizes. Now, the funny thing is, it doesn't look that great on black, but it still stands out on black, which I'm surprised. I think the red looks good. Oh, the pink. Look at the pink. Don't you want to be geared up in this for the summer that is now gone? Next summer. Everybody will be wearing this next year. Trust me. Everybody will be wearing them next year. So you don't want to miss out. You don't want to be the only one not wearing. Oh, and you can also get Hello My Darlings. Hello My Darlings. Do you want the Hello My Darling mug? I think you do. I think you want to have it. It's here. If you want it, go get it. Mask. You can greet everyone immediately. People know that you're being friendly by saying Hello My Darlings to them on your mask. Oh, fuck you know. But I actually like this. I think this is awesome. It's such a cool design. Look, I just thought of it and I thought, yeah, fuck it, I'll make it. It's so simple yet effective. Look at this mug. Don't you want a mug like this? I want a mug like this. This mug will say hello every day. Every day. It's just a smiling mug. Okay, Amy's not with us yet. I'm not sure where she is. I hope she's okay. Okay, I'm just sending out a little massage to our Lady of K to see if she's okay. But yeah, go buy my shit, especially this one. I think this is perfect. It's just the right touch. Simple, elegant. Look at that. Look at that on a bag. Look at that. Look at that. How amazing does that look? Look at that. Look at that. You could just. Oh God! Look at this man-gina right here. We have a man fucking gina carrying that bag. That is not a good look. Anyway, moving on. What are we moving on to, boys and girls? I don't know. Let me just switch over. Because I'm at the moment a bit uncertain what we're moving on to. But yes, go link in the underpants section below. Get your merchandising today, because they're on a limited offer of eternity. I don't know. They're not on a limited offer. At the moment, I haven't put any limits on them, but I will remove some of them, I think, in time, because I don't think some of them are just, nothing is shifting. So if there's too many designs, I think it just gets convoluted and it gets too messy. So I might remove some of them that are not particularly, doing well. Let's see how things go. But I haven't actually shilled them as much as I should anyway. I mean, I should be putting this on Insta. I should be putting it on Facebook, all that crap. But I'm not a massive salesperson, so that's why I have issues. Oh, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you, with no further ado, I bring you the lady of the hour, Miss Amy K. Hold on, let me switch over. Hi.
I need to go to your channel too. Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I'm excellent. How are you doing, Banksy?
I am good. Now I'm sorry, I can't turn on my cam on this side, otherwise it's gonna mess up the whole green screen thing. But you can see me on the stream, right? And you've seen me
I see
before.
you on the stream.
You know what I look like.
Oh yeah.
It's a hideous thing. No, but
No, shut up.
nobody's buying this.
That looks really awesome, by the way.
Which one?
Your
Oh,
stream.
the backdrop thing. Yeah, I sort of was messing around and I did a thing. But in the meanwhile,
I feel like I'm coming at you from a parallel universe right now.
you literally are coming up.
Yeah, it's kind of rad. Like, I've never used StreamYard before, so
Oh, you haven't?
no.
Oh,
I didn't know that you could change my background because I guess I have a green screen, right? So that's
yes,
kind
you
of
have
cool.
a green screen. So I did actually implement your green screen. At least I implemented a filter to see if I can get that working, and it seems to be working. So let's go with that.
I can see you delayed on the stream, which is fine by me. At least I
Yeah.
can see your
Okay,
face.
let me see. The problem is, as I said, because I've got one cam and the other cam won't. I think I'm gonna have problems if I switch over the cam. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's gonna cause issues, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But I mean, you can hear me in real time, which is what's important.
Yeah, you got it. So how are things?
I'm good. I'm good. As I explained to everyone before you arrived, you are what I call my happy place. You are the zone in which everything is content and life is good.
I mean, for the most part.
Well, exactly. For the times that we kind of come together, the times
It's an
that we're
attitude thing.
apart, yeah.
You know.
But for the times we're apart, sure, life has its own shitty issues.
Of course.
But
It always does. It always will.
exactly. But for the times we're together, we or at that moment that we have, it's happy, it's solution. I wanted, this was what I was thinking we should think about solution orientated subjects, things that we have a solution for, rather than just
Banksy, I've solved the world's problems with all my friends every time I talk to them, and I'm always like, why don't people fucking listen to us? Like, why don't people just listen to us?
It would have been all
I know
sorts of-
Marxism better than any Marxist, okay?
There you go.
You know
would have
how
all
it
been
is.
fixed if they just listened to you.
If they just fucking listen to me and me only.
only though.
Yeah.
Benevolent
Nobody else.
dictatorship, the path to happiness, to true happiness.
I think I feel like honestly the best thing would be to have like some sort of council of elders, and we're talking like actually well-rounded elders, people who are experts in certain fields, or that kind of thing.
Is, I think what we have in the concept of parliaments and all of these things, they are supposed to be our council of elders. That was where they, I would imagine, emerged from, because nothing comes out of thin air, obviously.
Yeah.
All of these democratic systems and all these other systems came out of the council of elders sitting in a circle and having a conversation about how the village should be run. And of course, prior to that, or at least not even prior to that, in between all of that, there were a whole horde of dictators who emerged and said, I'm going to kill anyone who disagrees with me.
Right.
But this supposed Senate and Parliament and President and all of these things, they are meant to represent that basic level of council of elders. It's just, it's difficult to have a council of elders for a country that has 350 million people. You have to, accommodate for that. It's okay for a council, for a 50 people village, but you have to scale that for 350 million people. Like in the
I think
United States.
things definitely get a lot more complicating when there's more people. And, the idea of a federal government, particularly in the United States, and a state government, I get it kind of, but it always just seems smarter to me to stay as a union. You're going to have some federal kind of involvement here. It doesn't need to be as big as it's gotten, that's for sure. But I think the states should mainly be responsible for handling themselves. I mean, like, a state itself is still quite a large amount of people to govern and to get to, you know, follow laws and do all that kind of stuff and keep order in. As soon as you start expanding that, it seems to get a lot more challenging. And especially with the connectivity that we have these days, it makes it ever more challenging, because now as we're seeing, there's so much clash of, and it's political view with the states in particular. It's unfortunate, but, you know, the thing that gets missed here is that it's always, always, always about fundamental values. It's unfortunate that politics has gotten such a stronghold on the conversations that need to be discussed, not as a matter of left or right, but just as a matter of, let's discuss the facts of each side of the argument and see if we can find some sort of understanding, and then come up with a solution that's going to be best, that can accommodate the most people, because it's impossible to make everybody happy.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly it's the problem. I mean, again, a lot of these people who talk about, for example, even socialism and communism. Now, believe it or not, cooperatives and socialism does work in a 50 people village, or even up to 100 people. It works on a scale, on a particular scale. It just doesn't work when you go to millions and millions.
Right, exactly.
And admittedly, some have tried it, and they are trying it, even China and stuff, you know, there. But most of the time, you can see it devolves into dictatorial regimes. It evolves into despotic, because it just, as I say, I think it relies too much on the goodness of human beings to do the right thing from the heart, effectively, and people are not like that. People lie all the time. People cheat. People, if they can get away with it, they will absolutely lie and cheat. And so you know, once you know, it's okay if you get a handful of people and say, okay, these guys will do everything right. They'll follow the rules properly, and it works. But what they find is a whole bunch of other people are not following the rules, and those people who do follow the rules are carrying the ones who don't, or the ones who cheat,
right,
and try to get out. And eventually everybody becomes what's it called? I mean, I want to just use the term black pilled, but you know, they become disillusioned. They become they lose faith in the system, and they're like, okay, if he can sit at home and do fuck all, well, I'm going to sit at home and do fuck all. Everybody wants
people just seem very despondent and disconnected, and for some reason the connection they're trying to find is through some sort of political conduit, and I don't understand that. It's politics is ultimately divisive, and it's especially obvious when you look at how the US is operating, and how, like I just said a few moments ago, every issue is discussed through a political lens. I mean, we understand that we are a tribal creature. We are a social creature. We certainly want to have groups within which we fit in and feel like we have cooperative and sustainable relationships, where we can discuss things that concern us, where we can get things that we need on a larger scale. But that gets ever more difficult if all your fucking issues are going to be funneled through this political lens. It's never going to get you what you actually want. And then there's the theater of it all, which again is something we're seeing in the States a lot. The States is a really great example for how not to do democracy at this time. The other problem is, you know, the other problem is, I want to get to the solutions oriented thing, but it's important to discuss some of the issues too, which I get it. We've done it ad nauseum, but you know, I'll refer to these things later. Sure. But being able to discuss things when you don't disagree with somebody, or when you don't agree with somebody, you should never be in a place where you're trying to discuss an issue and the end goal is agreement, or persuading somebody that they need to think like you in order for things to work. The real goal is being able to disagree with people and still get along with them. And if you don't disagree with them, you stay out of each other's way. There are going to be people you hate for whatever reasons they are, right? Like race is like that big thing right now that just seems to be, oh, it's in your face, it's in your face, it's in your face. because the media pushes it in your face. Any issue that comes down, if there's an arrest, anything like this, it becomes a race issue through the media, and then it's reported as a race issue, and then everybody has it in their heads that it's a race issue. We need to step back from doing that. We just need to learn to talk about things without those things that aren't really important.
Yes.
And again, need to be able to disagree with people and not go to war over it.
Well, the thing is, I think this is where a lot of, because I talk to, I'm in sort of back and forth in my critique of, there's a rise of, I don't know if you've taken a note of it, but there's a rise of ethno-nationalism in Britain, certainly, or at least there's an attempt at a rise of such a thing. And certainly in America, you have people like Nick Fuentes and what's his name, the other guy, I forgot, Richard Spencer. I don't know if you've heard these terms, but these guys are talking about, you know, in order to be successful, in order for America to survive or whatever, it has to be white, or white people have to dominate or have to be the majority, etc., etc.
Right.
Now, I fundamentally disagree with those concepts because of the nature of United States and Canada, where they were built on non-exclusive, it wasn't an exclusively ethnically homogenous country,
right?
And it's still an amazingly successful country. So that I agree with. But what I'm trying to get to is they believe they have certain fundamental base agreements, even though they disagree amongst each other. They have these basic agreements that they all agree on, which is the betterment of their race, their white race. Now, they may disagree on the nuances, but they agree with that fundamentals. And this is what I'm trying to get to, is people who disagree, if we agree on the fundamental that we want our nation, whichever nation you live in, to be the best possible society that we can make it. We want our children to be safe and to be educated and to grow up and have an opportunity to be successful in life and have their children and so on and so forth. If we agree on those basic fundamentals, then if you do disagree on other things, you can disagree, but you don't hate each other. Because the basic the fundamental agreement is we want a better life for all of us. And so you can still come together on that level. But
you can hate someone and still make their life better. And the way you do that is you just leave them alone. Just stay away from them. Things that you hate, you stay away from them. You don't engage in this YouTube culture where you fucking hate something and you watch it so you can just fucking keep that anger and hate inflamed in you. You know what I mean? Like this is a thing that people do too. If you don't like somebody, because it's human nature, there's going to be people you just don't like that rub you the wrong way. Like this is something we can't deny is just a part of being human. You can't like everybody. We're not built to like everybody. And if you don't like people, you simply stay out of their way and hopefully they stay out of yours. You just never want to have a reason to engage with somebody that you don't fucking like, right? I mean, It's fun on the internet, I'm saying, but like on a grand scale in the world, you can't like be in public and be like, I fucking hate you because you're white or whatever, and start some shit with them, right? Well, you just walk past them and go away. Like just go away.
Yeah, but the problem is, I think sometimes you can go away. I think sometimes, yes, you can separate. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need that other individual to work along with you to get something done, especially in like the political sphere. You might hate Trump, or Trump might hate the Democrats or Nancy Pelosi or whatever, but they still need each other in order to get something done. And so they have to say, okay, as much as we hate each other, we do agree on these basic fundamentals of what we want for our country, and if we can build on that, then perhaps we can. There is a path here that we can move forward on. In real life, there are people you can just say, look, I don't mind because you don't matter. You know, I don't care about who you are. I can completely ignore you. I can go on with that with the rest of my life, never thinking about you, and I'll be fine. But imagine you're on a project with someone. You're working to build the building, and then you hate that person as well. It's like, okay, I hate you, you hate me, but we need to build this building. So where can we find common ground that we can build this building?
But the common ground is that. The common ground is you have a project, you work on the project, and your focus is the project, and you set aside your bullshit so you can work on the project. If you're in a situation where You're forced to work with someone you don't like. And we've all had this. We all have a fucking job and we all go to work and there's that someone that just rubs us the wrong way. Again, like, you're being paid to behave yourself. That's one thing you need to understand as an adult.
Sure.
If you're being paid to act within the confines of whatever the rules of that company are to not cause problems there. You hate someone, you still say hi to them. You know what I mean? You don't have to, but if you're saying hi to, like, I don't know, I just have this idea that even someone who rubs me the wrong way a little bit, for the sake of my job, I can say, hey, how's it going? And then that's it for the rest of the day. See you later. Have a good day. That's it. I don't need to communicate with you. And I don't really know you that well, but for some reason, there's something about you I just don't fucking like, but I'm not going to make that a problem because our goal here, right, because our goal here is to do a job. My goal here isn't to... Right. My goal here isn't to work shit out with you. I don't have to work shit out with you. I can just leave it and not let it bother me that much. Like, there's an issue if you dislike someone so much that you're not even really that tight with, and you're just reacting like with this visceral hate. Like, learn to manage yourself as a fucking person in the real world.
This is the thing. You see, I can get on board with that, and we do all the time. We all meet people at work because work is an unusual situation. You are put together not out of choice but out of necessity. The people you work with are not people you may necessarily choose to be friends with at all times. These were people you happen to be put together because you got a job, you need to get paid, and these are the people you have to work with. So it's a very weird situation. Even school isn't as bad as, if you like, work, because in school you can go to school with a bunch of people you hate, but out of those groups of people, you pick a few that you like and you hang out with them. You don't hang out with everyone at school. There's a whole bunch of people you despise at school, but you pick the people you want, you hang out with those guys, and you isolate yourself effectively. And that's why there's cliques in schools. You know, you got the different cliques. But at work, you really can't. As much as you hate this guy, if he's pivotal to the project you're working on, you have to sit down and work with this guy. You can't just ignore him. You can't just avoid him. You have to work with that individual. But the funny thing I want to get to is, yes, you're right. We can be professionals. We can put our professional cap on and say, I have to be professional in this 8 hours and do my job and work along with this guy. But when it comes to our political sphere, they don't seem to abide by those same rules. It's like, if I hate this person's politics, if I hate Trump, I can hate him at work. I can literally express those hatred or those disdain for him whilst I'm at work. They don't have this separation of, look, I'm at work. I have to look out for the things that I was elected for. It doesn't matter whether I dislike this guy. I have to figure out a way to work with this guy because I'm being paid for this. They don't seem to have that. Ocasio-Cortez and Nancy Pelosi, and the way she, like, the childish behaviors, tearing up the speeches. It's like, what the hell's this?
Yeah, they're honestly, they're working against themselves. When somebody like Trump comes up, the thing is, like, you can't be so attached to the figurehead that you're going to completely throw under the table or forget about or choose not to look at the ways in which he may have done something positive. You know what I mean? Because if you have criticisms for the guy, that's fair. But your criticisms are coming from a bad place when you also can't acknowledge that somebody's doing this, and this correctly. So you're just criticizing to criticize. You don't actually have any useful feedback. And your useful feedback is going to get buried under just your hatred. Because again, you cannot acknowledge the things that they did well or did all right with, right? And that's always going to happen. Credibility matters. And in order to be credible, you have to be kind of dispassionately detached from people, so that you can look at both sides and so that you can see, especially in your job, right? Like the Pelosi's and these Dems, it's just it's like high school. Donald Trump really has come in and exposed a lot of this kind of petty behavior that, like, we engage in when there's workplace politics, or I don't know. For me, it was like 10th grade. I don't do this shit now, like, and it's kind of horrendous, you know, like when you're watching TV and you're seeing somebody say something about another adult, and these adults are running shit, and we're like, you can't set aside your petty shit. And then at the same time, you're doing the shit where, like, I gotta wear popular kids' clothing. Fucking Nancy Pelosi comes out in a daishiki, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, lady? Like, it's so much pandering, and it's so petty. And then, like, the whole thing just optically looks so sad. And it's already a lot of optics, right? Politics is optics for a lot of shit that these people are doing that we don't approve as citizens who fucking pay their wages and pay our taxes properly. Like, and then the thing is that mentality where people have to pick a side. You're either a Democrat or you're a fucking liberal, and that's it. Or sorry, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, and that's it. Yeah. And if you're not on this side, fuck you. And if you're not on my side, fuck you. And then, like, the majority of people, we are in the middle.
Yes.
And we're like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to even get involved in this fucking larger fight, because, like, these people are not reasonable. You can't discuss things with people who are not reasonable and who exist on either ends of that extreme side of the spectrum. It just makes it incredibly difficult to do. So where are we left? We're left to come on YouTube and talk about this shit. You know, and you have to, like, there has to be people talking about it and making a little bit of sense, because it's frightening out there.
I just think, I mean, the funny thing is, now, it's funny how a Canadian and an English person, we're discussing predominantly American politics, but I think it's just that they're sort of more highlighted, and I think more people can relate than if I were to talk about, I don't know, Boris Johnson.
Well, it's a world superpower, right? Like,
exactly.
When you're at the top, the teacher or the person at the top should always lead by example. And everybody right now is just, we're looking at the US in bewilderment. Because the pandemic has just shown us and highlighted how incredibly poorly things have been dealt with, and how much bullshit there is when Trump comes up and says, oh, everything's fine. We've had 15 people had corona and they're fine now. And it's like, yeah, that's not what's happening. And you're lying. And then you come back and you're like, it's getting worse, guys. And we're like, what are you doing? It's like you're throwing people back and forth and on a seesaw. And it's a very challenging time where people are, you know, their fear is heightened and everybody's freaking out, and the election is this year. And it's like, can you even believe the fucking election is this year? Like, I'm always like, oh yeah, it's in November. Like September, October, November. Oh, wow. And August is almost over. Yeah, so 2 months.
23rd. I mean, we're practically a week and a bit, and then that's it. August is done. So we're only 2-3 months away from the election, and then you know, we'll know who I mean, if you were to make a call, where would your call be right now on this thing between Biden and Trump?
You know, I talked to Chris about this yesterday, and it feels like
that was great stream, by the way.
Thanks. It feels like he's wonderful. It feels like, you know what, like everything in me says Trump.
Yeah.
Because Biden, you know, people are like lobbing all these accusations against Trump. Oh, he's a pedo. He fucking went to, you know, Epstein's Island, blah, 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 all this shit. And it's like, how many clips have we seen, if we're just talking about that particular thing, of Biden like smelling little girls and fucking touching little girls?
Creepy old Uncle Biden.
Oh God, he's so fucking creepy.
Creepy Uncle Joe. He's freakishly creepy.
My feeling is gonna be Trump, but if it goes to Biden, I'm not gonna be surprised either, because it really is just so fucking intense over there and extreme right now, and you know.
Well, the thing is, this is my take is, number one, I mean, the Epstein things that they're trying to smear Trump with is ridiculous, because there's literally pictures of Clinton being massaged by one of Epstein's.
Yeah. I saw those pictures come out.
Like, guys, I don't think the Democrats, this is not a winning strategy for you guys. You really should just try to pretend that never happened.
No.
But on the flip side, I will say Trump has the incumbent position, and I think that this is my thoughts on this, or thoughts. My thoughts are that they're throwing in Biden right now because they know that there's a very good chance Trump will railroad him and just
Mm-hmm.
go over him. And so Biden is kind of like a throwaway candidate because they want to keep their good candidates for the 2024, 25, whatever sort of election, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when they're gonna bring in their top trumps, or pardon the pun, top guys, because they figured, okay, Trump is most likely going to win this. Biden is on his last legs. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think Biden's even going to make it in the next 4 years.
Dude,
Came,
Biden is so retarded.
he came on. There's a YouTube clip. He came on the video. He goes, "Hi, I'm Joe Biden's husband."
Seriously, I didn't see that.
He meant to say his wife because his wife did a little intro. I'll send you
no.
the clip. There's a clip on.
I mean, did you hear when he said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black"? And I was like,
yeah. That was awesome.
Oh.
That was awesome.
"Oh my god, what is happening? Everybody's having a fucking seizure, man."
Yeah, that was. Now, this is actually two things. I posted a link for you. There's a film called Irresistible. If you get an opportunity, watch it. It's about American politics. It's actually Steve Carell and
Jon Stewart.
And Jon Stewart's made it. He's, I think, produced it or directed it or whatever. It's produced by Jon Stewart, but it is actually, Steve Carell's like the star in it, and a whole host of other really good actors. But the film is brilliant. It's not about it's about American politics. It's about campaign donations. It's all about that. But it's done in a very clever way about a small town who has a mayoral election. So it's not about the country. It's just about the small town who has a mayoral election. But the same mechanisms of the presidential election or any other type of election takes place in this tiny little way as well. So on every level of American politics, this plays out. This campaign donation, super PACs, all of that stuff. So that's how it is. The film is very well done. It's a brilliant film. In fact, I'm going to watch it probably once or twice more, because there's so many nuances, so much going on that you need to kind of, I think, watch it a couple of times just to pick up on those little tiny nuance that is in it. But generally,
I will do that because I really love Jon Stewart.
It really exposes the money side of American politics.
But Banksy, this isn't shit that's particularly new. Like,
exactly.
the thing that I've come to a conclusion of is that politics is ultimately, particularly in the States, it is like just the benchmark when we talk about politics, the US. So I'm not going to mention it again and again that it's particularly the States because it's obviously what we're talking about. I don't think that anything anywhere else is as bad or as in the spotlight as the US. So it just, it makes sense to talk about it with the US as that central focus here. And like, God damn it. American politics is very much, it's an optical illusion because both of those sides have the same hands in their fucking pocket. Yes. So no matter what you think, it is absolutely ridiculous if I don't know what planet you're on, if you really think that it's two-sided like that. These people they all have the same interests.
Yep.
They all have the same people in their pockets because the people who have their hands in their pockets want them to run shit that way, so they keep making money. And in turn, those politicians continue to make money and hold positions of power. And then they come up, and I mean, every election cycle, it's the same thing. Unkept promises, and we're going to do this, and so much money is spent on advertisement and telling you what we're going to do for you. Why? Because they understand from a psychological perspective that perception is reality. If you tell people and show people that this is how it is, they'll just fucking listen because they don't got the time after they hear your 30-second clip because they got to go to work. They have a family to take care of. They have this and that they got to do. 100%. They can't really care that much about what's happening. But then when they see over time that those promises are not being kept or their social insurance is decreasing or whatever it is, then they start getting mad. Now what we're seeing that like a bottleneck coming up of people who are very fucking angry and upset that they're not getting what they've been promised. Meanwhile, there's a pandemic ravaging the country. People are concerned that they cannot pay to go to the hospitals or see doctors. And, I think there's going to be some sort of change on people's view about socialized healthcare Because I think we can both agree that capitalism works and has its flaws, and full socialism clearly doesn't work because we've had countries try it and it's been a mess. But then you have these countries who are running kind of a hybrid. Exactly. The answer is always somewhere in the middle when it comes to dealing with complexities of large populations, ensuring everybody has the care that they need, and taking care of your country, especially when people are paying taxes.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous that anyone accepts, living in a first world country, that they have to spend money to fucking get medical care.
Well, this is
so basic.
Yeah, this is this is the myth of now. You and I both live in a country that has socialized healthcare, so we appreciate the benefits of that, because I know that I don't have to go bankrupt. I don't have to sell my house or car if I get ill. That is in itself a safety net that I have in this country. Not to mention other benefits that we have anyway as safety nets, but nevertheless, the benefits of that. For me, and not only for me, I'm relatively healthy. I barely go to the hospital. I've never had any illness during this. I haven't even caught a cold since the corona started. I usually catch a cold around this time of the year, and or when the weather changes. When you go from spring to summer or summer to autumn, I usually get a little bit of a cold then. But I haven't even had a cold yet because I am taking an excessive amount of zinc and vitamin C because of the corona.
You're looking radiant and healthy, Banksy. I was going to say earlier.
But anyway, what I'm saying is I appreciate the fact that I pay taxes so that my mum can at least have those facilities. I'm not necessarily just paying it for myself. I'm paying it because my mother does use the health service more because she's elderly and all of that. And women tend to go to the doctors more often anyway. So that is a tax that I will happily pay.
For sure.
And Americans, I think they haven't recognized the benefits of that particular aspect. Now, they always talk about, oh no, the medical system will somehow collapse in on itself. And don't get me wrong, we have our own issues because of the people who pay into the system are far less than those who take out of the system right now.
Right.
Because we have an immigration issue where people, and not only that, we literally have health tourists. People come to Britain to use the health system.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Britain is amazing. If I came to Britain and broke my leg, the NHS will take care of me.
Absolutely. Now don't get me wrong.
Nuts.
I think that's fine if you're coming as a tourist and you have an accident. There are people who have illnesses who then come to Britain to go to the NHS, and it's like, look, somebody has to pay the tax to fund this system, and if there's more people using this, taking out of the system than there are putting in, the system is going to start to fall apart. It's going to start to run out of money because it's unsustainable. And that's my only caveat when it comes to this nationalized health system. Is I would suggest, or my suggestions are, anyone who comes into the country as a refugee, as a migrant, as whatever, has to minimum pay 5 years worth of tax to the system in order to then get the stuff for free, or get the. I mean, sure, we can take care of your children, children under certain ages, or elderly people over certain ages. Sure, we'll take care of those groups, but anyone in between the very young and the very old, I'm sorry, you have to put something in because it's unsustainable. And what's happening? It is
unsustainable.
Yeah, what's happening now is British national health system is becoming privatized. They're part privatizing. So if you like the NHS, if you like the free service that you get at the point of use, then be willing to put into it so that we don't have to go to that. The government doesn't have to go to those sharks, because those sharks are circling the NHS. Right now, there are private insurance companies, private medical companies that are circling this giant juicy piece of meat that is the NHS in Britain, and they want it privatized. They want to take their piece out of it, and that we're just holding on to it. The people of this country and the government is barely holding on to this NHS.
There truly has to be a way to handle freeloaders, because there's always going to be those people. And the problem with freeloaders is that first of all, they're created when they come from a system where they can't get what they require. So they go elsewhere to take advantage of theirs, right? Like this is the migrant issue. This is, as you were saying, people who come to Britain specifically to use the NHS for that kind of stuff. That's why it's important for everybody to just have socialized healthcare and take on the responsibility of just making sure that people can get the healthcare that they need so they don't have to do this and they're not taking away from other people. Also, Britain shouldn't be doing that because, again, like your citizens at home are always more important, right? We're not talking about accidents or any sort of extraneous issue or whatever, but it should always be that you're taking care of the people who live in the country first. What the fuck is the point of people paying taxes if they're not going to be first priority when something fucking happens? Like, this is just very duh, you know? And here's the other thing too, like a lot of people talk shit about like, oh yeah, you have to wait fucking ages for surgery. Listen, this is what the Canadian government does. If you need a high priority surgery and there are people prioritized in front of you, which by the way, other people are waiting for their lives too, and they have to do all that. If it gets to a point where it needs to be done, they will fly you to America and pay for your bills so you can get your fucking crazy surgery. You know, it's not like an all the time thing. It's obviously in very
exceptional.
Right, very critical situations. But the fact that we offer that and we are able to do that for our citizens, that is what you need to do when you care about your citizens. Now, that keeps someone from having to say fly to England to take advantage of the system. Again, when countries take care of their people, you're going to create less freeloaders. It's going to be easier to manage that problem. Whereas if you're not going to do that, and then look at people in the States who, like, can you imagine getting out of university, you break your leg, you need to call an ambulance, you need to go to the doctor, you need to do all this kind of stuff, x-rays and everything, and then you get slapped on top of your student loans, $100,000 bill for all the shit they had to do to take care of you. And now what the fuck are you supposed to do? People end up on the street because they can't pay these bills. And it's like, okay, so yeah, leave medical to the free market system. By the way, a free market system that doesn't operate as a true free market system because you motherfuckers bail out companies that should go bankrupt because that's how the free market works. If a company fails, if a bank fails, they have to be allowed to fail. You can't then bail them out. And if you have the money to bail out GM and you have the money to bail out these companies, you sure as fuck have money to pay the health system. Well, fuck these companies. They're supposed to fail.
This is crony capitalism. Unfortunately, that is the problem with crony capitalism. We don't actually have. This is the problem in all of these scenarios. That we don't have.
Remember hands in pockets?
Yes, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. We don't allow, and the problem is we allow, and this is the critical portion of this whole thing. We allow people to corrupt the system. The system would be fine if it remained pure. So this is the problem with like those who complain about you know there's nothing wrong with capitalism. Capitalism is fine. This is the trick that they play. People like Ayn Rand, they don't debate what the capitalism that we actually have. They debate the purest form of capitalism, which is allow the market to dictate how things go. The best best products rise up to the top, and the bad ones fail. But she doesn't, or those people don't acknowledge the fact that we don't have that system. We have a crony
It's like Marxist, right? When they're saying Marxist is great, they're talking about the theoretical framework that Marxism has laid out.
The perfect way of holding on to it.
It doesn't operate like that within the way that we deal with things. First of all, these systems are going to be implemented by human beings. Human beings are inherently flawed. Yes. So expect flaws in the system. Now we have this ability to gather data. It's such an unprecedented amount. And we have analysts and we have people who can look at this shit and that can implement solutions. The problem is they don't want to implement those solutions because that means that there's going to be less fucking money for these politicians, right? Like, we can't forget greed. We can't forget wanting to acquire more and more wealth for fucking what? First of all, you're taking money, throwing it into offshore accounts, and then you're like, and then what?
Well, I'll tell you what. money is not the aim goal for most people who have tremendous amount of money. They very quickly realize up to a certain point you
It's
spend
power,
money.
isn't it?
It is power. Money is
Yeah.
the gateway to power. Money
Right.
is not on its in itself is not the be and end all. These people
Right.
are not out to just make more and more money. They
Absolutely.
are out to solidify their base and their power base. They want to have power and influence over society, and
Right.
money is just the means to get there. So when you see these people who have billions, Bezos and Gates and all these, and yet they're still making more billions, they're still investing in money than they're making more. Like, how much more do you need? You have literally more money than you can possibly spend throughout your entire life. You will die and your children will die billionaires, and
Yeah.
you still won't, you won't see the bottom of that barrel. So what is it that they are really after? It's not the
I
money
honestly think
anymore.
what it is. So when you think about somebody who has done heroin, right? And they get that first high from having that first injection into their veins. Now, that high will never be, you'll never get that high again. But people chase that high. So what do? They more heroin and more heroin. So it's like money. When you get that first lump sum of money, you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And your brain is lighting up and there's surges of dopamine and there's surges of norepinephrine and serotonin and you're just like fucking elated. But then the next time you get more, it doesn't have that same effect because in your brain what happens is there's diminishing returns, right?
Yes.
But people keep chasing. So I think like from the neurological perspective, what's happening is they just want to earn more and more to get that reward response again. And then also there's that same dynamic occurring with the amount of power that you acquire when you have that amount of money. Because now you can be like, here, bitch, here's some fucking cash. Do what I want, or I'll take that cash away.
Yes.
And they're often going to people who do not have the same amount of cash, who are willing to do anything to have that amount of cash. And then they get them stuck in that cycle.
Yes.
And that's how that fucking shit just snowballs into our reality that we're seeing now, where we're seeing people. It's like, how much money can you possibly have? The money is sitting there. It is doing nothing useful. You're in a suit, you're pointing your finger and you're giving orders now. What's next? Now you have all the power. Now what? And then it comes back to that Eastern shit, right? Like it's not about happiness anymore. It's just about acquisition of fucking wealth and material goods, which eventually they don't do anything for you.
Well,
They just don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is the part where different people have different perspective or different ideas. You see, this is what I was saying about the power part. You know how earlier on we were saying, you were saying, if people just listen to us, we would solve the whole of world's problems, and it would be just great. Well, guess what? Those same millionaires and billionaires, they think the same too.
But Banksy, I have to be very honest in telling you that if I got that amount of money and I got that amount of power, I would be the same fucking person too. We have to be honest about the fact that human beings operate very similarly. We all have reward systems in our brain. And if we get something that we like, we want more of what we like.
Yes.
So we're going to keep trying to chase more of it. This capacity is in all of us. That's what Jordan Peterson talks about.
Yes.
That's why it's very important to recognize it. We're in a position where we're not those people. We're watching them. So we see the negative effects of that and the negative effects of what that does to the world. Therefore, because we don't have that amount of cash and that access to power or whatever,
Exactly.
we're going to look at it different and have that perspective.
Yeah.
But you bet your ass, if someone comes here and they're like, you know what, Amy, here's $1 million. I would really like it if you could go do this, this, and this. I might be like, fuck, man, $1 million would make my fucking life easy. I want to chill out. Like, it's not, and it's also not like, here's $1 million, then you can go and do your thing. It's here's $1 million. Now you're permanently connected to this fucking machinery.
Yes.
And try to escape it, bitch. You can't fucking escape it. Like, it's scary. So people stay stuck.
Well, this was
They're stuck.
this was exactly. I mean, I had this dream, this idea.
Yeah.
With £3 million pounds. Sorry, I saw on one of these property websites, with £3 million I could buy a building and a sort of I don't know, 5 or 6 story building in a prominent area of London. It's like central part of London. And I thought to myself, with £3 million, I can buy this property. If this sort of dream scenario, if I win the lottery and I have £3 million, I could actually buy this property. And my idea was, you could buy this property, make it into multiple flats, so you make it into multiple apartments. But the trick is this: you rent it out at absolute minimum price. So you rent it out for no profit, just the complete cost price of how to maintain the building, to keep it running, and the people that you need to hire to keep it running, and the taxes that you have to pay. But you don't run this building for a profit. What you do is that you rent these out to young people who have just either graduated or about to graduate, or or have come to London and want to start a better life. You give them a 5-year period. They have 5 years at minimum rent to live in London, because the biggest problem in London is rent. Food and all the other things are about the same price as anywhere else in the country. The biggest expense most people have in London is their rent. The rent is insanely unaffordable or very hard to maintain.
Right.
So you give these young people a flat for 5 years, and you give it to them at minimum rent price. So that means they can save their money, they can invest their money. But here's the other part. Every person that gets one of these flats has to submit a 5-year plan of what it is they're going to do. Yes, in that 5 years, they have to have a clear plan on what they're going to do and what they're going to achieve. And if I would have this like philanthropist or a millionaire amount of money, if these people have business ideas, business plans, product ideas,
you would invest.
We will invest into those ideas, and we will then have a share of that business that these young people will start. So I will make money because of the investments that I will make into these young people. These young people will have 5 years to achieve whatever it is they wish to achieve, and at a minimum rent price, so they can live in London, they can work in London, and they can build their lives, and it will give them an absolutely
Banksy,
amazing start.
That sounds awesome. But, however, the thing that I want to bring up is this. I saw this excellent quote that was like, it's much easier to build up good children than it is to fix broken men. And it all starts at parents. Now, we have this problem where parents who are having children are not actually equipped to raise children. They are, I understand you just get overwhelmed by your biology. Your biology wants you to procreate. Everything around us, the only reason it exists is due to survival and reproduction. All this emotional shit we add on top is bullshit. We like to tell ourselves stories. Human beings are very fucking simple creatures. We complexify things, and that's why we have all these fucking things around us that are just clearly looking unmanageable. Step back to the individual having children. You have to be having children in a solid household with both parents who are present, with both parents who are actively engaged in being parents to raise that child, to prepare it for the real world. Now, we don't have this. That's why you have parents who give their child everything, and then they behave in the real world once they're adults like children, because when they don't get what they want, they have temper tantrums. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing the loud minorities of each extreme, and these children were just so fucking babied when they were younger.
Well, there's participation trophies and all of that stuff as well. Like, nobody is allowed to lose. To me, that is the worst part.
That is the worst.
Of raising children is, if your child, it's not about losing. I'm not saying you're constantly going to put your child down and tell them how pathetic they are and destroy their self-esteem. I'm saying it's consequence free. Yes.
People want people to live consequence free. And that's the problem is, if you don't have consequences when you fuck up or do something you are not supposed to do, you're not going to learn any valuable lessons to apply forward. And you're just going to keep hitting this wall where you're unhappy or miserable with whatever the result is. And you blame everybody else for that. And then you come back and you're still not happy. It's because, bitch, you're not learning anything.
Yes.
You actually don't get anything out of life if you're not fucking getting embarrassed, losing a little bit. You don't get a participation trophy for breathing, but that's what people want.
they do
I'm
now.
breathing.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking trophy.
This
No,
is it.
bitch.
This is the
Do something.
Yes, this is the articles you hear all the time. I'm fabulous, and I deserve, and I deserve a better life. Yes, I am owed something. These people are constantly owed something. This is why they don't appreciate struggling and actually achieving something, to strive to make something happen, to climb a mountain. There's a saying. They say a man climbed Everest and he almost died, and and when he came back down, another man asked him, why did you climb that mountain to die? He said, I didn't climb that mountain to die, I climbed that mountain to live. Because that's how you understand, that's how you realize, that's how you appreciate life. You find a new taste, a new enthusiasm for life when you've taken yourself to the edge of death.
Right.
Most people actually who come out of fighting cancer have a far better life, far more fruitful.
Well, it's an attitude thing. You know what I mean? Like, I had this after it was like, oh my God, I actually survived, like, since I was 14 alone. That's not something that a lot of people do. A lot of people are babied till they're fucking 18, 21, 23. I was out of my ass at 14, And by the way, due to the fact that my Indian father was not happy with the fact that I had a white boyfriend, that's what it boiled down to. And I was like, fuck you, bro. I love him so much. I don't care.
And
like,
they say
do it.
They say only whites are racist.
Right? No, Indian people are incredibly racist here. And nobody wants to acknowledge that, because right now it's not trendy to do so. What the fuck? It is not trendy to do so. And according to this oppression Olympic fucking narrative that everybody is trying to force down our throats right now, only white people can be racist. And that is it's a very postmodern Marxist thing to do, to change the definition of terms to fit your narrative. And how can you talk to somebody like that? How can you talk to somebody who can take any word that you say and say, well, actually, it means this according to my ideological fucking stance and background and stuff? And it's like, but that's a problem. You see, like, everything about you is ideological. Can we just detach ourselves from any of the clusters of ideas that people have put together and now call an ideology? Can we simply discuss things individually and then rate them on their merit, or talk about what's going to be best for everybody based on that? No, we can't. And that's a solution that is so incredibly difficult for people to get to, because they're so emotionally attached to the things that they believe in that we can't have an honest conversation, because then it's like, well, you have to watch how you say this particular thing because it's rather sensitive. Maybe it's supposed to be sensitive. Maybe it is supposed to hit you in a certain way that makes you reconsider the beliefs that you have that are actually counterproductive to the goal of living together or working together, or, being conducive to human rights for the most people. Why do you think you have the solution here when you are closing off and saying that we should pocket up and we should divide? What your value is division, but what you're dressing it up as and putting costume jewelry on it as is, oh, I care about everybody. No, bitch, you care about yourself and the people who care about you, and you just can't admit that you are the actual racist. You are the divisive person, and all you care about is appearing virtuous. And unfortunately, it's kind of how we're conditioned by advertisements and all this kind of shit that we watch, that just sugarcoats everything and entirely negates the idea of like how difficult it actually is to exist in reality.
Yeah.
And then, these are the ideas people bring to fucking political debates and all this stupid shit. And then you have candidates saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like it's incredibly, I don't know. It's fucked up to see. Like, I don't consider myself particularly smart, but I could never imagine behaving like that.
But for me, it's the sheer arrogance of such a statement to be able to say that and to presume that a particular demographic is so locked in to your political narrative that literally, if they don't vote for you. I mean, it's unbelievable that you would assume that this particular racial demographic has to vote for you. Like, again, this is the entitlement sort of attitude. It's like, I am owed. I deserve your vote. Your vote is only good with me, not with anyone else. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Actually, on that same note, before I forget, if you get a chance, and if anyone else in the audience gets a chance, watch a recent documentary that's come out called Uncle Tom by Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh boy.
That's
Amazing.
It is amazing. And it is very good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a political party propaganda film. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that part. It goes heavily towards Republican Party, and it's very heavily skewed, like anti-abortion, Christian, all of that stuff. So it does have all that. And if you watch it with that awareness that this is not a unbiased movie, this is a very heavily biased movie, then you can appreciate it for what it is. But it's still very well done, because it does address this question that black people in America are not a homogenous group. And it does show that there are plenty of conservative and Republican-minded, if you will. Even if they may not vote Republican, they are conservative Christian black people who have very conservative values, and they're certainly not into this transgender story time or pole watching little children have pole dancing and crazy things like that. And I think you discussed the recent thing, the cuties thing.
Cuties.
Netflix. What the hell is going on?
I don't know, but every time I think about that or it's brought up, it really just makes me cringe. Like I feel I have spiders crawling all over me or something.
God.
It's just so fucked up.
That image of these kids. I mean, they're like, what are they, like 10? I think
11?
Like 10, 12. Yeah, they've got to be in that sort of age range. They're like maybe teenagers, maybe like 13 or something at best. But they are doing.
No, they're 11 because the girl
11?
that the story is about is 11. That's what the little synopsis said.
And this is what I mean. And that image of that poster with them in their twerking. Which 11-year-old? What happened to 11-year-olds wanting to be ballerinas and I don't know, fucking fairies and shit? Why are they twerking? Which 11-year-old is encouraged to twerk? This is insane.
This is what happens with the internet too, right? Is that you have access to, like, if you're a young kid and you're lying about your age to use these social media platforms, and you're gonna see all this stuff, and you get your period as a girl between the ages of 9 and 13 on average. So, those sexual feelings do start to come up at some point. But when you're learning about those things through social media and not from your parents, because, I didn't tell you, like, my mother never talked to me about having a period. It just happened to me one day. I was very lucky. I was at a friend's house and she explained to me what happened because I was so fucking freaked out and scared.
I can imagine. You're bleeding.
Now when the parents,
yeah, holy
horrific.
Shit.
I was like, all right, I guess I'm dying now. I guess that's it. I guess like 12 years was it for me. Yeah, like you just don't know as a kid. And when your first exposure to sexuality is, Instagram models or these kinds of things where they are blowing their butts up with this fucking all these apps and this software, and they're making their waist smaller, and they're really playing up those things that we know are sexual markers for mates, right? That men look for.
Yeah. There's
just going to be an imitation factor that's there, and you can't really blame the children. You really got to kind of wonder what kind of access this is why I'm saying parenting is fucking important. Like, you have to be a parent. You have to actively Sorry.
I was just checking to make sure that the sound quality is good, because I didn't check it when I first started.
It might be on my end that it isn't. You just let me know.
No, it's perfect. I just checked it on my phone just to be sure. But yeah, you were saying yeah, parents.
Yeah, it's incumbent upon the parents to have these conversations with their children, but they don't want to fucking bother. So what do? Like, I'm seeing parents give their fucking 2-year-olds iPads at restaurants while they're sitting in the baby chair, and the kid is just like fucking boop, 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 and it's just, it's horrific to see, and you don't know what they're looking at, and you have to be engaged as a parent, and then if you're not, this is the kind of shit you're gonna get. And then we have this movement of like, oh, we're accepting of all races and all cultures and every single thing that people want to do. Well, civilization, whether you like it or not, was built upon a structure of purity and, yes, religion. And I'm not saying I entirely agree with that. But in order to build a civilization, you have to curtail some biological impulses that human beings have. Because if you don't, we'd be killing and raping everybody out here. Don't you understand? Don't you fucking understand where we came from? Don't you understand we were savages? Don't you fucking understand what a human being is? No, we're so disconnected because we're like, I have a smartphone. I'm smart. You're not. Like, you're a dummy. You're being tricked. You're being fed advertisements. These wizards in fucking Silicon Valley have figured out these algorithms, and they're watching what you're doing, and they're feeding you everything that you want based on your searches and shit.
Yes.
And that's how people get into these little echo chambers and these like myopic and fucking fed viewpoints. And it is exactly because of this. And if you're not aware of that and you're not consciously curating your own shit and you're letting somebody else do it for you, what do you think's going to happen? People like to be followers, and they don't like to admit that they like to be followers, but we're all fucking followers to some degree.
Sheeps, absolutely. Yeah,
you got to be aware. That's why a guy like Donald Trump can come in and fill the power vacuum. That's why a guy like Hitler can come in and fill the power vacuum where there's space, because there will be people he will emotionally compel to fucking be on his side. That's how simple we are. And if you don't have everything is religion, right? Yep. Religion goes far beyond the Abrahamic ones that we are used to hearing about. Religion is a mindset, it's a way of thinking. Whether you have your routine and the things that you do in life, it is religious thinking. And people take that and they funnel it through an ideology and a set of ideas, and people get tricked because, again, your emotions are working far more than your conscious mind is. This is a newly evolved part of your brain, and it's not done. You know, as we have access to more information, it will evolve further. Who knows where it'll go? But remember, your subconscious has been forged in a place that is not from this time. It's from the jungles, from the cave days, from the times where survival was incredibly difficult.
The lizard brain, they call it the lizard brain because it's from the time when we were actually lizards or lower light forms. So it has evolved through that period. It hasn't, it's so embedded, it's so innate in us that we are reacting to it without even realizing that we're reacting to it.
Exactly.
And that's what these companies and these media sort of companies, social media, all of these things, it's not social media. Social media is like a baby in comparison to marketing and advertising, which has been going on for since television was invented practically.
But it is a powerful tool of social engineering.
Oh yeah, it's become a very powerful tool. But what I mean is, it hasn't invented most of this stuff. This stuff has been running for a very long time. They are just recognizing it and they're utilizing it, which is to appeal to effectively the lizard brain, the subconscious primitive part of our instinct. And we, without even recognizing, without even knowing that we're doing it because your brain is doing things constantly without you even acknowledging it. Your brain is monitoring your heart rate. Your brain is running all your nervous system. Your brain is controlling your blood. What do you call it?
Your brain is concocting that sentence that you said right now, and you're not doing that.
Exactly. Prior to it even coming out of my mouth, it's already established those words and collated them, so your brain is doing things without your control all the time. You don't actually have as much. People think they're in control of their bodies. We're actually not. There's a massive amount of our physical functions we have no control over. We have no say over whatsoever. It will do it whether we want it or not.
Exactly.
I can't stop my heart whether I want to or not. I can't stop it whenever at will. It is. I mean, some say that you can attain a level of consciousness or a level of brain, or you can utilize your brain at such a high level that you can then actually have control of your physiology. But that's like, there's a movie called Lucy, and there's like, it's
Right,
sci-fi.
right. Yes, I've seen that.
You know what I mean? So maybe at some point in our future, we'll be able to have that cognitive ability to actually have control of our physiology. But we don't right now. There's a huge amount of our physiology which we have no say over. You can't tell
Exactly.
your nervous system to stop.
Right.
It's gonna be doing what it does.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about these things, then you can start to recognize how manipulation can happen to you without
Easily.
without your consent. People will appeal to the part of your brain that you do not directly have control over, and so you have
People will tell you they're in love with you so they can fuck with your head. You know what I mean? Like, it is such a potent trick.
There you go.
When someone tells you, like these politicians, oh, we truly care about you. We want to see the health of our citizens and the prosperity of our citizens above all else. That hits you in a place emotionally, and then you believe it. And again, that's why the trick works. That's why mass manipulation works. That's why individual manipulation works.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to trick people emotionally to get them to do what you want. And like, people don't want you to fall in love. They want you to fall in line, but they know you can easily fall in love. So they manipulate you to do so.
Yes.
And what they're actually doing is they're getting you to fall in line with the way that they want people to be.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's several books written on these things. I mean, the one I would say is there's one called The Art of Seduction, Robert Greene. And he's produced multiple books on similar sort of things, The Art of Seduction, The 48 Laws of Power, and there's a whole host of other people. The funny thing is, there are lots of people who have figured this out and are trying to tell people that this is how you're being manipulated. If you don't control your life, someone will take control your life for you. And there's a multi-billion-dollar industry called sales and marketing, which is the testament. It is literally the what's it called? The temple of human manipulation. That's what that whole industry is how can I get people to do what I tell them to do? Now, in their case, it might be, how do I get them to buy, I don't know, shaving cream or razors or cans of Coke? But nevertheless, the fundamental part of it is, how can I convince you to do as I say? That's
correct.
What it comes down to. Politics. Robert Greene's book talks about politicians. I thought it was, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was about picking up women when I read it. When I first picked it up, The Art of Seduction, I was like, all right, I'm going to get laid. Let's read this book. It's
about how to seduce people and persuade them into doing what you want them to do.
Yes.
For whatever the greater cause is. And that's exactly what power is, That's exactly what Trump is so incredibly good at, and what people don't understand about him. And they call him fucking stupid and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you don't understand how socially apt this guy is. Okay. Whether you like him or not, he understands how to communicate with a large amount of people very simply, very, very repetitively. Why do you think the WWE is such a huge phenomena in the States? It is nothing but pageantry and sloganry. It's the same hypnotic message said over and over again with these very particular characters who are dressed in a very particular way, and they're compelling in a certain way, and they project themselves a certain way. Like, it is an art form to be able to communicate with such a large amount of people and play a role. And that is the way to get where he is. He is not presidential in the least. You know what I mean? He's incredibly unprofessional.
He doesn't have I think they
he's so crude. It doesn't matter, because what did he do? He won the hearts and minds, and he's very good at doing that. And that's why he is where he is. Yeah. And you can hate him, but his aptitude in that area is incredibly high, and that's why he won.
This is the problem. I think, like recently I watched the DNC and Obama talking about Trump and how he doesn't have respect for the office of the president and this and that.
Yeah.
They are still caught in that old paradigm that they think that there is this like there's some kind of like, like in Britain we have a lot of pageantry. We have the Queen's Guards and the changing of the guard and this and da. What he doesn't realize is that the modern American citizen, although they like some of that old school pageantry, they want the WWE pageantry. They can relate to the WWE pageantry far more than that old stuffy, British monarchy
blah, blah,
kind
blah.
of pageantry. They don't care about, because they don't relate to that. They go and watch WWE. They feel connected. They feel that this calls to them. This relates to them. Whilst that snobbery British monarchy style of pageantry is too many degrees away from them. They say you're only 7 degrees away from anyone or whatever.
Right.
Now, I think the average American, especially in those red states, they relate to Trump because they feel they're only like 3 or 4 degrees of separation from Trump, whilst they feel that they're 10 degrees of separation from Obama.
Listen, Trump is just really good with his illusion, you understand? Like, he makes you feel like you can be him. And there is also a level of, it was the same shit with George Bush, right? I feel like now I can be president because a C student has become president.
Yes.
Therefore, it emboldens people on an emotional level to feel like if he can do it, I can do it, and therefore we connect. We are the same person, Mr. President, and it's like, there you have it. You wanna create an illusion of solidarity with people. You just got to make them feel like, hey, pal, I'm just like you. I can do everything you do. We can go out for a beer. I can crack a joke. I can be a retard. Like these kinds of things. Whereas with Obama, because Obama was actually very good he was a good orator.
Yep.
He was always put together. He was always stood straight.
Harvard
and
educated.
Yep. And he always, like, someone said something, I can't remember, it was a couple days ago, of like, it feels like Obama talks down to me. And he's like, yes, but on a negative way, because he has that presidential kind of air about him. First of all, it should feel like that. This is a leader of the free world. This is how we see this man. That is exactly the dynamic between you, a regular citizen, and a president who is elevated physically on a podium, talking from a very prominent position to you.
Yes.
Like that is the dynamic. Sorry you don't like the hierarchy, but that's what it is. But when that hierarchy appears to be removed and Trump is talking to you, oh, we're awesome. It's all awesome. Everything is awesome. You have like that hypnotic fucking tone he uses. It's just, oh my God, he knows what he's doing. That guy, he's not stupid.
I think they did an analysis of his speeches, and he talks, I think, at his 8th grade or 6th grade.
Oh, it's awful.
Something like that.
I mean, let's not even get into the literacy levels of America, period. But the president, the way that he speaks, like if you transcribe his speeches, you see a lot of skipping. You see a lot of like, it's so incoherent, and you're like, Trump, what are you actually saying? Like,
well, this is the thing. But the thing is, he gets the credit that he gets for it is, he's not reading off a teleprompter, which is the criticism they put on Obama all the time. Oh, he's a very good teleprompter reader, and he's a good orator because he can read off a teleprompter. Well, yeah, that's called being prepared. That's called thinking ahead. That you're gonna go and give a speech, or you're gonna say something, so you want your words to be clear and well understood and thought over. You thought about what you're gonna say instead of.
Right, like if you're going to use a teleprompter, who cares? He's still an educated man, and it's very clear.
Yeah, but it's not just that.
That's pretty awesome. And
but the thing is, to me, it indicates someone who's actually had foresight or forethought about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the Trump base, they see someone who just runs off the top of his head, repeats things, and talks at an 8th grade level because.
But God damn it, I love him. He's so fucking funny.
But yeah,
you know, I'm really into comedy. I love comedians, and like there are things that comedians work years to do with that
exactly.
Trump just has a very natural way about him, because he really doesn't give a fuck, man. Like Sleepy Joe Biden and like these little silly names he comes up with, and the way that he refers to people, and he's like a
Hillary.
fucking football jock.
Yeah.
Yeah, crooked Hillary. He's a football jock. That's what he sounds like when he
is.
talks. And you know what? It is so funny.
Well,
Like
it's
he
the
makes me
alpha
laugh
male.
so much. Yeah, yeah.
He comes across as an alpha male Chad. He's got
Right.
his supermodel wife. He's got his
Yeah.
private jet. And I'll be honest, like you said, people even vicariously live through his life. They,
Oh, yeah.
with you said, when you saw Bush get elected, they were like, hey, a C-grade guy can become president. I'm a shoo-in.
Right?
I think I got better grades at the school than he did. And
Yep.
at the same time, with Trump, people are like, well, he's such a cool guy. I want to live his life. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have my private jet and my supermodel wives, and I want to do just like Trump did. And they buy into it. They buy into it because they think anyone can do it. He makes them believe any one of them can do it.
Yeah.
And the reality on both sides, on both Bush and Trump, are that no, none of you can do it.
Right.
The reality is so far away from what they make you perceive that you can do. And
I'm just waiting for a black trans otherkin to get that fucking presidential spot, man. That's what I'm waiting for.
yes,
I'm waiting for it.
black trans other kid.
Give me that. I'll take that over Biden, because
That's the next one.
I just like seriously, Biden, and then Kamala Harris as your running mate. You could have picked like fucking Tulsi Gabbard or somebody else. Like it had to be.
Yeah, no,
It's
they
just
wouldn't have gone for Tulsi.
crazy.
Tulsi made a mistake. She went on a few right-wing shows like Dave Rubin.
She also called him a racist. Let's at the Democratic debates. Let's not forget that.
Oh, Tulsi. Yeah. Tulsi did, but
No. Kamala Harris
did,
called
yeah.
Biden. Yeah,
That's right,
yeah.
But the thing is, Tulsi. It's not that Kamala could have called him a giant vagina, and they would have forgiven that. But Tulsi
Yeah.
went on right-wing shows, and she didn't apologize for it. She went on Joe Rogan, which some people consider borderline right-wing sort of show. She went on.
That is so fucking funny, by the way.
She went on Dave Rubin, which is they consider they.
Oh, you know him.
Guys.
He's very right.
Exactly.
Well,
So-
I mean, him in particular, because he started talking to a lot more people on the right. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So from what I understand, Tulsi Gabbard didn't even get invited to the DNC. Like in any way, like not even like as I guess she could have gone maybe as an audience member, but
that bitch is too real, man. She's
Yeah.
too real for the Democrats.
whilst Andy what was it, Andrew, what's his name, Andrew
Yang?
Yang, yeah, he was all over it. He was all over that, and he was the one who's advocating for universal credit and this and that, and so yeah, they
universal
loved Mr. Yang. But Tulsi Gabbard, a veteran who has sensible, possibly middle of the road ideas. Oh no.
But see, that's the problem. You just said the key word, that they're anti-sensible.
Yeah, middle of the road.
This is not sensible politics. This is not sensible. Nothing about this is sensible at this point.
It's always extreme. The problem is the internet, and this is the problem I see in the internet. I don't actually see it as much in the real world. Is the internet is black and white. The internet is extremes. If you're a middle of the road type of person on the internet, you're pretty much not getting far. You're not doing much.
No.
If I were to just spout, I don't know, white supremacist slogans and dog whistles,
Oh, you'd be huge.
I'd have thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
running after me. If I were to spout the other side, just everything's racist and everything is bigoted, and Britain is the worst country to live in because it's all racist in this country, then they would have the other side of the coin.
But Banksy, it's making sense is not trendy, but wearing the clothing of sensibility is trendy. So people will come into chats like this, and like, I mean, we're kind of doing it now. We're just having a discussion about stuff, right? And there's a lot of, I feel like we're pretty reasonable about a lot of things. But there are people who are in the chats, right? And they come and even like they're like, oh, fucking, we need more white this. We didn't, not this particular chat, by the way, just to be clear. But You know, people
one's
get
quite
in
good.
their chats and they think that these people think they're critical thinkers. It's like, bitch, you can't even control your mood for 5 seconds and you think you're a critical thinker. You're not. You're just blowing with the gust of the wind, and you've convinced yourself somehow that you make fucking sense. When like when you try to make sense, the thing that you recognize is like, oh, I have a lot of contradictory positions. And why is that? That's because different situations elicit different solutions and different ways to think about things. Now, if you don't have a creative mind and you're not going to look at things from different angles, it's going to be much harder for you to actually be reasonable, because even reasonableness has a lot of disconnect and a lot of things that are, you know, and that's
Hypocrisy's inside it.
we're seeing the disconnects causing issues in the world, and like, try to connect those things, you'll find more disconnections. So it's just a very, that's just how things go. You know, you can only do the best, and sometimes the best includes flaws too. Like, it's not, there's nothing perfect that works, and you have to live with that. You have to make sense of the fact to yourself that coherence is actually an incredibly challenging thing to achieve.
Yes.
When it comes to ideologies and when it comes to thinking about life, because life is not particularly coherent. It's chaos.
100%.
You know?
I mean, that's my if you like, paradox or even hypocrisy is, as much as I love to allow, you know, I love everyone to live as they wish to live and live a free life in which they can decide their own paths. I have a massive disconnect when it comes to my ideas about freedom of individuality and people living their lives the way they want to live and be left alone to live it, and the religion of Islam, for example.
Right.
I have huge criticisms on religion of Islam, and I get a lot of shit saying, well, you want everyone to live the way they want to live. Well, Muslims want to live the way they want to live. And yet you're constantly criticizing them. You're constantly knocking the way they want to live. And I have that, because my problem isn't with Islam, isn't that they want, that I want everyone to not live the way they want to live. I want everyone to
You just don't want oppression.
I don't want, because I know that Muslims, if they gain a level of influence and power in our society, they will not be as gracious to me as I am to them. They will not let me live the way I want to live as much as I would like them to live the way they want to live. So I have to constantly be pushing against them in order to have the space to be able to live the way I want to live, because they will not reciprocate. They are so convinced of their position and their perfection of their way of life that they will force me to live their way of life, even though I will happily let them live their way of life. If I didn't think Islam, if there's a reason why I don't harp on about Buddhism. There's a reason why I don't go after the Jains or the Zoroastrians or the Sikhs, because they don't fuck with me. They're not telling me to live their life. They've lived alongside with many other cultures and many other religions for thousands of years without ever pushing their shit on other people.
Right, yeah.
But Islam is an exception to that. And if the Jehovah's Witnesses start fucking bulldozing my door down or start, putting a sword to my neck saying you got to be Jehovah's Witness or I'll kill you, then I'll have a problem with them too.
Precisely, yeah.
But I don't.
The other problem is like with that Muslim issue in particular is when they do come to places, I was hearing about in the UK when a lot of the migrants were coming in, it's like, well, they don't appreciate pork, so we're not selling hot dogs on the street anymore. Like, you can't do that. You can't succumb to their cultural values and the things that they want when they are coming into your country, because that is just the beginning. That is just the very beginning of allowing these fucking things to infiltrate your values and your stuff. When you're like, oh, fuck it, I guess we can't sell hot dogs anymore. No, bitch, keep selling hot dogs. If they don't like it, they can move to another spot where those hot dogs are not, because they're not from here. If they don't like the values here, they need to go back to their own countries. And that's how it goes. Like, you can't come to a country that has its own sets of values and traditions and everything like that, who is, by the way, welcoming you to come and stay and, again, take advantage of the fucking system and then be like, well, I don't like how you're doing it, so do it our way. No, bitch, fuck you. That's not how this goes.
This is the, again, another paradox of Muslim mindset is that they say, we've come to this country to take advantage of this system, and then subsequently destroy the very system that they came to take advantage of. And they don't seem to realize that the reason this system has provided so much amenities, so much luxuries, or a good way of life, is because of the way that system is. Now, if you go and change that system, you will make it the same place, or you will turn the country that you just came to take these advantages of to the very place you ran away from.
Exactly.
And then you'll be looking for the next place to run to.
And they don't even want to fucking go there. Okay, so I have a request. May I please take just like a 5-minute break? I would like to use the restroom and just switch my laundry, and then I would love to continue with you.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want, after you come back, I'll. Do you want to take questions, 5-10 minutes questions from the panel, or anything like that? Are you up for anything like that?
Oh, hell yeah! Anything you want to do, let's do it. I'm game.
Okay. I'll ask the chat to post their questions, and then when you come back, we'll run over some of those.
Okay, guys, hang tight. We'll be right back. Okay.
Awesome. Bye. Okay, guys. Aimeeeeekins is out for a few minutes, so we're gonna keep you guys entertained. With I don't know what. What am I gonna entertain you fuckers with? Let's see. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I have. Do I have any kind of? I wanted to play. Let me see. No. Where the fudge is it? Okay, hold on. What's this? Okay. Hello. This is a small, short commercial break, boys and girls, brought to you by the ever wonderful and ever radiant Banksy style merch. That's right. This commercial break has been brought to you by the Banksy style merch store, where you can get all your wonderful merchandising. That's right. You want the bag that smiles? Get the bag that smiles. You guys want a mask? You get the recent mask smile. That's right. Yes. Oh yeah. Here we go. So, I'm not really sure where else to go from here. I'm fucking losing my shit. Bit disorganized. Okay, guys and girls. Let me just pause this and reduce the volume. There you go. We just want to. I want to ask everyone in the chat, if you wish to ask Aimeeeeekins any kind of questions. Love you too, Robert White. If you wish to ask Aimeeeeekins questions, please post it with my name, so at Banksy style, and then Aimeeeeekins question, or AimeeeeekQ, if you will. So my name, AimeeeeekQ, and then your question, and I shall post the question, or pose the question to Miss K herself. So yes, let's do it. The stream running okay? Everyone good? Everyone happy? That's right. Again, feel free to go to the Banksy Style merch store and purchase any item you wish. They are in the link is in the underpants section below. Now, I'm sorry for those of you outside Europe or the United Kingdom, because I can't seem to get this fucking store to shop internationally at the moment. I'm only restricted to the United Kingdom. I've got to find out what I have to do to change that issue. But for now, for those of you in the United Kingdom, feel free. Look at this. Look at that. That cap to me is just amazing. Amazing. I drew a line with two little things and curved it slightly, and it just bam. What more do you need in life? Simplicity at its most glorious. I'm gonna buy some of these because these actually look really good. I don't know. I really like the way these look. I'm definitely gonna get a mask. I need the mask. But yeah, So for those of you out who wish to do that, now let us see what else I wanted to cover. There was a few things I wanted to talk about. Speaking of our Muslim friends, now I don't know if you guys know about the little saga of Muhammad Hijab and David Wood, but I have saved some stuff where David Wood. What is this? About the little saga of shit. Okay, I'm gonna kill that off. Yep, it's working. Okay. Let's play this, which I think a lot of people in the Britons find incredibly insufferable, and I do too. So I'm gonna play this one. Let's check this bollocks out.
Apologies for taking over the cliff, but I have a few words that I would love to share with you. My name is Hassan, and 5 years ago, I was on the other side of this channel trying to cross here. These cliffs were actually visible from our makeshift camp, and they represented hope. Hope that I would live a safe and a stable life here in Britain, having fled my war-torn country.
Last time I checked, France isn't a war-torn country. You do realize how refugee status works, right, Hassan? Now, you see, the thing is, this is the problem. As a libertarian, as a person who's caring and generally has a fucking conscience, I feel for Hassan. I feel bad that Hassan has to have fled his war-torn country, wherever that is. I presume it's probably Iraq or Syria or something. But the rules of refugee status and asylum seeking is that you seek asylum at the first safe country you arrive in. I don't think, Hassan, France is a war-torn nation that you had to escape from. So you are no longer a refugee. You are a political, economic migrant now. And I don't have to have sympathy for you anymore, because you're an economic migrant at this point, Mr. Dinghy Rider from Calais. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but you're supposed to be in France. You're not supposed to be in Britain. Britain was not the place that you landed when you escaped your war-torn nation. You landed in possibly several other countries before France, I'm wagering. So I can't give you the sympathy that you are requesting here on this very, very propaganda laced message that they have projected onto the white cliffs of Dover. So no, Hassan, I'm sorry. Me, as a person of immigrants, a child of immigrants, and someone who wasn't even born in this country, I can honestly tell you that you are not a refugee. You are a financial, economic immigrant, and you came to this country because of its financial benefits. Not because you feel sick, you're insecure or you're gonna die. You can live a life in Germany, in France, and all the other European countries you probably trek through to get here. So I'm sorry. My level of sympathy is spent. Not that I don't acknowledge the fact that you came from a war-torn country, and I'm sorry that potentially British foreign policy fucked your country over. I too appreciate that aspect, because I too am a victim of British foreign policy. But I can't have sympathy for you because you're an economic immigrant. You are not a refugee. And you should be dealt with in exactly the same way as all illegal economic migrants should be dealt with, which is to be sent back to the country that you last resided in, which is France. France is where you landed. I'm sorry. It's your lot in life. Maybe you should have found another way to get to Europe, but you didn't get to Britain first, and that is the way things are.
Similar to those who are arriving recently, I had to put my trust in a people smuggler, because a safe and a legal option to seek asylum here was and still is unavailable. Crossing the sea on a rubber dinghy is terrifying and devastating.
Hi, I'm back, just so you know.
Devastating because it makes you feel so helpless.
I have returned.
And I wouldn't wish it for my worst enemy.
That's all right.
Oh,
Despite the growing number of people making the
what the hell happened here? I thought I was... Why is this thing showing the chat and not the... Sorry, guys and girls. This thing has gone crazy. And it's showing me the chat window instead of... Sorry, Miss K.
That's okay. Don't apologize. Take your time.
We are just swinging back.
No rush. We're just relaxing, having a nice chat, having a little natter.
Yes, having a little banter, little chit chat. Okay. Now we have. I was just playing this this propaganda video that was projected on the cliffs of Dover of some guy saying, it's your government that's terrible. By the way, this is the man who came to a country whose government is looking after and has put him up in a hotel, and he's already within literally months or weeks of being here is shitting on the government. I'm like, dude,
of course. That's amazing, isn't it?
You're taking a shit on the very people, the very government that has let you in the country. How is this a thing? You would have thought at least these guys would be grateful for at least the first year or two before they start.
You think they come from such awful fucking shithole countries.
No. you know
that term is so funny to me. Oh my gosh. Have you seen pardon me. They had those videos where like a bunch of whiteys just got together, these fucking who the fuck knows celebrities, and they're like, we apologize on behalf of white people for your countries are not shithole countries. And it's like, bro, why do you think they're coming to yours? They're clamoring to be citizens of your country. And it's kind of funny because they come to the advanced countries and they're like, how can we turn this into a shithole? And you're like, because they're so used to their way of life. And I get it. There's a little bit of a gestation period where you're moving from one culture to another. And it's very hard to let go of a way of life that you've known your entire life. So you want to have some aspects of familiarity from where you came from. The problem is it's attached to so much shit that resulted in a fucking shithole country where there's infighting and wars and all this kind of stuff going on, and you want to create that here. Why does this keep going off for some reason?
Is it an alarm or is it a
cancel? It's a timer. So when I was when I had talked to you before, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 45 minutes because I am currently learning how to play guitar. Yes. And at every chance that I've gotten, I've sat down with it and just kind of play it. My fucking fingers hurt so much right now.
You have to build those calluses.
Yeah, so I figured that like once the timer had gone off, I wouldn't need to do anything with it because I hit stop. But what it does is it just keeps on resetting that timer to every 45 minutes. And I'm just like sitting here like nobody's calling. What's happening? So, but that is it.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. I guess a lot of people just they don't give a shit. But there's what is your heritage and what's your ideology?
I wouldn't say that I prescribe to any particular ideology. I just have values and that's about it. I like ways I like to treat people, and I like to be treated a certain way. Generally, I try to treat people how I want to be treated, and if I don't want to deal with you, I simply don't. I am half East Indian, so my father is from India. My mother is from the island of Fiji, and she would be considered, I guess, religiously, culturally Hindu. So two different versions of brown. Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
That's it.
And I would presume if you were say you still fit into the category of atheist in the way of as far as you approach God.
Yeah.
Yeah. An atheist, but your other worldviews are from a multitude of places.
Yeah. Like I've changed my I was very strictly atheist in the sense that fuck religion for everybody. But I think it's very clear that there are some people that require a low-level operating system to do the right thing. Yeah. Now, when you're trying to build a civilization, I think it's important that there is something for people who can't just come to these conclusions on their own, some sort of scaffolding, some sort of structure for them to have. And I am of no mind that religion is just going to disappear. Of course, it's had horrific, results occur in the world. And I understand that as well. And I think the best thing that can happen for us is that over time, religion just sheds the things that are ultimately divisive. And at the end, we end up at something like, everybody just believes in the golden rule. And if for you that golden rule comes from Christianity or Islam or whatever it is, fine. Just if the end result is treat people how you want to be treated and, you're trying to keep the peace and that kind of shit, whatever, man. The world is way too complex for everybody to come to the same conclusion. Nobody's going to come to the conclusion. Like, not everybody is going to come to the same conclusion. And people vary and they're very different. And that's just reality. Yeah. I don't believe in those things, but for some people it provides comfort, and life is suffering. So if that's what you need, though I think people are capable of alleviating that suffering without an ideology or a religion. If that's the way you got to do it, you got to do it. Again, we have to take into account that like people have families, they have jobs, they have all these things that doesn't afford them the time to think about issues on a deeper level. Some people just don't have the mental capacity to even do that. So
true. Some
it is what it
just
is.
Don't have the interest.
That's it too, and you can't blame them. Like, I don't fucking care about something you like, so I can't expect you to give a fuck about something I like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You just like what you like. Your psychological disposition just is a certain way, and it is what it is.
I agree. Hey, Chris. Chris Green Moose is also in the house.
Yeah.
With us. Also,
he likes cheese.
He likes cheese. That's good to know. I like cheese too. But there's another question. Someone said, RCW says, would you ever take a DNA test for fun?
Yeah, sure. I actually want to take one just to see what kind of illnesses I might be predisposed to.
Ah, interesting. That's actually
like if there's cancers. I know there's like heart attacks and heart issues on my mom's side of the family. On my dad's side of the family, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I would like to take one just so that I can see, what kind of things
you can preempt or know about. That's
knowing is half the battle, right? That'll be challenging because there's definitely going to be some fucked up shit in there, and not every habit that I have or whatever is going to change the ultimate destiny of my DNA or my genetics. Exactly. So it's just good to know. I like information.
I think that's the main part, is to just have a heads up effectively. And I've been curious about a DNA test myself, especially since I've had so many conversations with ethno-nationalists in regards to
what I want to know really, Banksy?
Yeah.
I really want to know if like anybody in my if there's got to be some fucking British raping and pillaging in my family line, because like
British raping and pillaging.
Because my father is from India, my mother is from also a place that was heavily involved, I think, with some British shit. And the reason that I'm curious is because if you look at my mom's side of the family, everybody is very dark. Like, we're talking nigga black, like real dark, because they're Fijian, they're Pacific Islanders. So they tend to be. But as the kids came out, they got lighter and lighter. So it's like a gradient.
Wow.
My mom's part of a family, or she has 9 siblings altogether. The oldest one is the darkest, and like everybody's fairly dark until it hits my mom's sister, who is a little bit older than her or a little bit younger, and then my mom. They're very light skinned.
Wow.
I'm very light skinned, and even my dad's side of the family, they're not particularly dark, but you can tell they're Indian and they have that skin color. So I'm just curious if anywhere down the line,
in that gene, there was a white dude in that pool.
Yeah, somewhere. I tell you,
there's a white sperm swimming in that pool.
Yeah, because but even such simple things as like, I'm not hairy like a typical brown person either, so I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, this is my thing is I know Persians at least have the Aryan sort of traits about them. Now, I myself am a incredibly mixed individual. I have Turkish, Kurdish, definitely Persian, and now this is the weird thing. My mum said to me a little while back that apparently somewhere down the DNA line of my grandfather from my mum's side, there was a German woman involved in that little
Ooh, scandalous.
So I am actually somewhat curious, because I talk to these ethno nationalists who love their lily white DNA, and I am 70% British and I'm 80% Dutch and whatever, they love to constantly profess their European heritage, and it would be amazingly funny and entertaining for me if I ended up being somewhat German.
Well, you know what happens then? Then I can call you a Nazi legitimately.
Yeah, well, either Nazi or I can actually say to those guys, the ethnic nationalists, hey, I'm European too. I'm part of your gang. This is my hood too.
Yeah, because you do look very European. I remember the first time I saw you, I was just astonished.
Quite
you were
white.
saying you were Iranian. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I do have, my mum's side of the family are very fair-skinned. Actually, my dad's side is very fair-skinned as well. But from the immediate, like, dad, uncles, aunties, things like that are very fair-skinned. When you start to expand out a little bit more, then, the variety of colors. And my mum's side, the same. I've got cousins, not directly my cousins, but my mum's cousins, who are darker than you. Very much. They wouldn't be in this country they'll be considered Indian through and through.
Banksy, the white boys at my work, they go they go camping and stuff, and then they come back from the weekend or their summer holidays, and then I'm like looking at them, I'm like, we like compare our arms. They're like, oh, Amy, I'm darker than you, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like,
yeah.
Like, you a white boy? Like, do you have some sort of color in your background or something?
Yeah.
No,
I think some people. Some people who tan easier. I've got friends of mine, English through and through, as far as I know, but they tan very quickly. It's amazing. But then also I do have relatives and my stepfather who's very English. He becomes a lobster. He just becomes a lobster. He does not tan.
That sucks, by the way.
We've had one time he got sunburned so badly, because the thing was, he wanted to kind of, when I was younger and we were all like a family and we were going on holidays and stuff, he wanted to fit in with us. He wanted to mingle with us. He wanted to sunbathe the way we sunbathe. And my mom was always very careful of us having good suntan lotion, but also, she would take us home or put us under an umbrella or whatever when the sun got too much. She was very sun wary. And we would tan really well, but we wouldn't get burnt because my mom would take care of us. Now, my stepdad, unfortunately, he can't go into the sun. The sun is his enemy. The sun is his nemesis. He is not allowed sun. And he tried one holiday, to do what we did. And he got burnt so badly. We had to call a doctor in. He had to be on like medication. He had to have special wraps put on him to cool his skin down. He was on cream. Oh, it was ridiculous. It was unbelievable. He was so badly burnt that the doctor was seriously worried about him having it was like, I think, borderline 2nd degree burn or whatever. It was really bad. He had a blister on his shoulder. Oh, it was horrific.
You know what? The first time I ever got burned was last summer. Can you believe that?
Wow.
So I went to Oklahoma and Denver last summer, and it was incredibly hot. It was in the middle of July, and I made the mistake of not wearing sunscreen because I was wearing like a tank top. So my hair typically covers my shoulders, but it wasn't. So like my shoulder, this is the first time it's ever happened to me. I got so burnt in Denver because we were walking around downtown that I started peeling. Yeah. Like when I dated my first boyfriend, when we would go camping and he would hang out without a shirt on, and then we would come home, you'd wake up in the morning and it's like a fucking snake was in my bed. Everything fucking peeled off. I had to change the sheets every day. It was disgusting. And I was like, you white boys, man, and your skin issues, because this is so gross. And now I'm over here like, oh,
You're
I
doing
guess
the
my
same.
skin is so fucking sensitive too that I freaking peel and burn. Before that, it was like this part of my nose,
Yeah.
the particularly Indian part of my nose. You know, like that burns. So I have to put sunscreen on my face, but it's the only spot that's ever gotten red or anything. But then last year when my shoulders got gross, I was like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah,
I thought it was invincible out here because of my melanin.
Yeah, no, everybody, even, black people, even Africans burn. They can burn. They can get skin damage from sun. So even people from an African, background should put suntan lotion on, because they can still get skin damage. They can still be susceptible to skin cancer from sun. All of that stuff. It's not. None of us are exempt. It's just that some of us are more obvious than others. And me, when I went to this camping trip recently, I did exactly the same as you. I didn't put suntan cream on. I thought I was covered the whole time, but I was wearing a vest, and my back.
Like white brown people.
Yeah, I know. We're like white brown people. And I got sunburn, and right now my shoulders, I'm peeling as well. I'm peeling around here, around there. It's gross. It's gross. It's like a snake.
And then you're like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're like, if I just get this one, it won't peel anymore. But then it's like, no, you're gonna peel more.
Keeps going. It just keeps going. Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. But you just have to suntan. You got to wear suntan lotion. Every time you think you can get away with it. And I thought on this camping thing, I thought first of all, we made our tents under trees or nearby trees, so we had really good shade. And I wasn't out for a sunbathing, so I was wearing t-shirts or a tank top. I wore like a vest, and that was my critical error, because my shoulders were exposed when I did that. And I didn't put suntan lotion on, and I got burnt. And not bad, but enough to peel. And now I'm having to suffer the grossness of skin just peeling off me all the time.
I'm at SPF 60 right now.
SPF 60?
I don't even care.
Damn.
Yep.
That's you might as well just wear a t-shirt then.
I have been. My arms, I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday. I'm like a penguin right now, like my extremities are dark and my midsection here is really light. So it just looks so funny because I haven't gotten the chance to get out and just suntan in a bathing suit or whatever. So like I'm wearing a tank top and I'm walking outside, and then I get home and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And like 3 days later, I'm like, holy shit. So much dark on my arms, and everything here is like white, like my tits are white and my stomach's white, and I'm like,
oh, so you got all the like tan lines going on.
Yeah. Fuck.
It's all good.
Yeah, of course.
So what else has been happening? I mean, I've seen your Instagram. By the way, I promoted your Instagram on this channel before you came on. I don't know if you want it, but I figured your Instagram is open, isn't it? So you're happy for people.
Have at her. I'm a very random person. Like I just do what I want. Instagram is probably my favorite social media platform, actually, because I like the story format. I like that you can post pictures with a little caption. I just prefer it to Facebook, because Facebook is garbage and has been since the 2016 election, and it's just slow. I just hate every other one except for Instagram, and like, as you've noticed, even my activity on YouTube has gone down quite a bit, just because schedule and busy. When I can get back to it, I will. But I like going there. And now, I've started to learn how to play. I'm starting to learn how to play guitar, and I want to track my progress, and like, that's where it'll be.
Instagram,
you know what I mean?
Is the place to follow Amy on the guitar progress. Because I'm not a big Instagram, and in fact recently I've locked down my Instagram from anyone new sort of following me, because I had some Muslims who were trying to track down my family or whoever through my Instagram. Even though I don't actually have any of my family on Instagram, they think I have my family on Instagram for some bizarre reason. So anyway, I locked it all down because I don't really care about those things, but I follow you, or at least I follow your antics, because it's like, it's the craziest shit that you do on Instagram.
With Michael, right?
One knee stool riding and your work husband and all of that.
Oh my god,
that is like awesome.
I'm such a terror.
Stuff.
I am his nightmare. I tell you, like, he is Michael just doesn't react to anything, and that's the best thing about him. And the great thing about the thing that I notice about myself is like I wear people down to a point where like they just start playing along. Like at first he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing."
And that filtered with the animated face.
Oh my god,
that is awesome.
So fucking funny. So Snapchat, I don't use it for any other reason except to use the filters, because that face tracking technology that they use and the how much it's improved is so fucking insane that it just, they can add those anime eyes on you and
so
stuff.
that is a Snapchat video that you posted
Yes.
on Instagram. This is why I can't find the filter. I went through the
Yeah.
whole of Instagram filters. I'm like, where the hell is this thing?
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Snapchat has awesome fucking filters, and if you like to fuck with that shit, that's what I use. And it's I'm like a really big a face person. So when I see my face has changed or morphed a certain way, that I just like that. I don't know what it is or what the fascination is, but I love it. It's fun. And those anime eyes are just so fucking funny to me. I remember being like, oh my God, can I be an Asian waifu pillow now? Can I be an anime waifu pillow? Like running around, and like I do it to all the boys in the house too. Or in the warehouse too, and they're great guys. They play along and they just fucking have fun. And they're like, "What is this?" You seem
to have a lot of fun at work. I mean,
I do.
At least those little clips that you post, it's like, oh my God, this place is just a blast to work. You're making people want to work at your place. This is like promoting your workspace. Your work.
It's crazy because like even though we've been there for about a year, my contract was only supposed to be 6 months, and it got extended twice. And like the guys are just like, we're gonna miss you, me and Michael, right? Because we work really hard. We make sure everybody has what they need. We do our jobs really well, so that affords us a lot of space to have fun and like parse that out during our day, so we're not bored or we're not this or that. We have a lot of fun discussions. Like the other day, he was showing me these keyboard switches that were designed by Germany that are now in a lot of the mechanical keyboards. And he'll teach me a bunch of stuff. Like when that explosion happened in Beirut, we sat down and he's like, let's research this. And he's telling me about like ammonium nitrate and blah, blah, blah. You need this in order for the explosion to occur in that way. And it looks like there were combustibles around. And it's interesting, to have friends and to know people who are really nerdy, because you learn a lot of stuff.
True.
And he's he's a computer guy, he's a network guy. I've learned a lot of things about cable from him.
Nice.
So it's a great
Cat 5s, Cat 6.
Oh, Cat 5s, Cat 6, conduit. Like like what does a node do? How do we attenuate that electricity in that node, and how is it distributed into homes from like a nodule that hangs on a cable? And it's really interesting.
Nice.
You never see the background processes of like your internet. So I've learned all these things, and it's cool, because now I'm like, oh look, there's a Shaw guy outside and he's fucking with the tap outside so that this house can now switch to Shaw. And like you kind of know what's happening, and you feel like, oh, I'm like in now. I'm like in.
You're on the inside track.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Cool. So how was what was I gonna say? There was it's gone. It's escaped me. It was another question I had right.
What about you? What have you been doing all summer? How's lockdown and how's everything going over there?
Yeah, lockdowns. I mean, the problem is I found myself actually going a bit stir crazy with me and my other computer buddies, because we work from home a lot. We still are not really going into offices and stuff. We are. I've noticed one of my friends. He's worked pretty much since March from home every day, and get out maybe at the weekends. He is now beginning to think, because where he lives there's a train station and cars and vans park almost in front of his house where the train station parking is, and he is now beginning to think that there are vans with blacked out windows observing his house all the time, because he was telling me about like, oh man, dude, there's always a blacked out van, like a van with the blacked out rear view mirror window pointing to my bed, to my kitchen. I can see him from my kitchen, and I'm like, okay, dude, show me. So he does a FaceTime thing and he shows me this van. And he's like, see that van? That van's been there all day. I'm like, is that got to do with the fact that this is a train station and people park there and then they go on the train to wherever they go to and then they come out? He goes, no, man, no, this van's always there. I'm like, okay. So then a day or two later, I talk to him again. And he goes, see, dude, there's a van there again with a blacked out. And he shows me, it's a completely different van. I'm like, dude, it's a car park for cars to park their shit. It's not.
People be tripping out, man. It's always a weird thought when someone's like, somebody is watching me. It's like, really, bitch? Are they? What is so interesting about you that they're watching you? Did you do something? And if you're not doing anything or planning to do anything, does it really matter?
I know, but he thinks that they're somehow watching him. And I said,
He needs to get out of the house somehow.
Exactly my advice. I said, dude, you're getting cabin fever. Get the hell out. Get the hell out of your house. Go at least for an hour a day out. Just anywhere, wherever you go. Because he lives on his own as well. And where he lives, it's literally a village of like 12 people. There's no
he needs some perspective. Just go look at a tree for a bit.
That's what he does now. He takes a ball, goes to the local park and kicks a ball around and plays a little bit of football and just gets out. Because I said, if you keep doing this, you're spending, sometimes I have to admit, even myself, I've tracked and I've spent maybe 3 days without leaving my place. I have not left my premises for 3 whole days. And I've just worked at the desk, went back to the bed, went back to the TV, came back to the desk. That's all I did. It's like, that's my
I feel very
day.
fortunate that I had work. Like, I feel like that's not only has that kept me sane, but getting COVID actually really it like knocks you out of the idea that you're going to live forever. Because when you live every day and things get habitual, you don't even think about dying. You know what I mean? Because why would you? You don't need to do that to yourself, because psychologically it would probably be quite traumatic to continuously remember that you're going to die one day. Why would you do anything? So when you have an experience where you get super sick and you just feel like you can't breathe and you're going to die, like, it just, when you go out into the world again, you have a totally different perspective and a whole new appreciation for things. And I've always really loved working and being out with people. Like, I like to be involved. I like to build relationships. I'm very social.
Oh, God.
I'm also very introverted, but I'm very social. And I'm super lucky I had that. I mean, as you see and have noticed, I work in an excellent work environment that facilitates a very healthy culture, great fucking social interactions, and just a lot of fun, lighthearted stuff. And it really does keep you sane. The idea of being stuck inside where all of a sudden you're thinking somebody's watching you, that wouldn't even come into my head,
This is
but some people like being home too. Like Chris loves being home. It works really well for him. There are some people that it's just more beneficial for to work from home.
Yeah.
And but when it's not, is when you're paranoid and thinking the fucking government's watching you. That's when you know you need to get outside.
This is it. This is the thing. I mean, even working from home, I can manage that. I mean, the first 2 months of it, I didn't even notice there was a COVID virus. It was just, for me, it was just like life. But eventually, you do have to at least go out to get that fresh air, that change of environment. To see these 4 walls all day, every day, for days on end, I think, it can mess with your mind. And you get paranoia, like my friend. Now, admittedly, my friend isn't he does play games. He does online gaming. He's been on Twitch. He's done Twitch before and things like that. But generally, I don't think he talks to online people like I do as often. So he's missing on that social aspect of interaction with other human beings. I don't feel as if I haven't left the house for 3 days, because I feel like I've talked to so many people and I'm constantly on one chat program or another one, or some live stream, or I'm doing a live stream myself. I feel like I'm talking to like dozens of people. I don't feel that I haven't spoken to anyone. But some people, I think they are even more isolated than that. They are just watching TV. They're watching passive entertainment, but they don't have interaction. And I think your brain needs that two-way communication. Otherwise, you will go crazy. So for those of you out there working from home, chat to someone. Call your mother.
But you know what I did is like as I said, like I am a very social person, but like after I got sick, I isolated for a while just because I needed that mental space. And you know, if you want to do things, because I like to read and I have a lineup of books here that I want to get through, and it feels good when I get through a book. And you can't talk to people if you want to read. If you want to learn things, you got to spend time away from people, you know, and that's why my time has been so much less making or doing a podcast or streaming, because with that time, I'm doing things that I want to do that involve not talking to people. I love reading.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop reading that. And, you know, like I want good hobbies that I'm committed to. I'm learning, like I keep saying, I'm now really, really into this idea of learning how to play guitar, and I want to get good at it. And that's going to require focus that can't be taken from other people.
Yes.
And it's okay. You know, it's good to have hobbies, and it's good to be away from the internet a little bit here and there. It's not a good thing to be constantly immersed in this world of just division and utter chaos, because the world is chaos already.
Yeah.
And you have to find a way to toe the line between order and chaos where you're okay and you can dip into both and get a little bit of variety and not get bored. Because if you're just gassing out on one thing, you're going to hit a wall eventually. And it's just becomes something you do because it's something to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
also, I don't like that.
I find myself getting involved with some toxic individuals on the internet as well, and then I'm going down this rabbit hole of toxicity of insulting and attacking, and then they attack back and I attack them, and then I you know, for several days and weeks, I suddenly find myself in this incredibly toxic, vicious circle of attack and be attacked, and all of a sudden I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I feuding? Why am I fighting with these nobodies on the internet who are literally nobodies of any consequence to my life? And all they're doing is increasing my toxic thoughts of bitterness and hatred, and I despise
it's fucking your psychology.
Person. Yeah.
You're willingly running towards being unhealthy psychologically. You know, if you can dip your toes in and have the wherewithal to step away from it when's necessary, and it's not affecting you in a way where you're like mired and feel like, oh God, like it's like this all over the place, then you're not in a good position. Yeah. And people don't understand the value of psychological health. That's why they spend all their time on the internet. That's why they're being fucking assholes and leaving comments on people's videos. It's like, bitch, you produce literally zero. You don't have the balls to come have a conversation with somebody, first of all, because you probably wouldn't be very good at it. That's why you watch other people have conversations, because you can't. You cannot participate in this way. You are a fucking mess, dude. You will always be a mess. Figure your shit out. You want to have like these kinds of conversations are very psychologically relieving. You know what I mean? Sure, it's masturbation. It's masturbation without the mess, but it's a good type of masturbation. Yeah, it's a good type of masturbation. It's good to be able to talk to your friends and parse out ideas just for just to engage in that activity itself, not because you want somebody to agree. Like, I don't know, at this age now, I'm like, I don't fucking care if you agree with me. I don't care if you disagree with me. Are you an asshole or not?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That's true. That is true.
That's that simple.
It is.
If you're not an asshole, we're going to be able to have a very robust discussion, and we're going to be able to disagree, and we're going to have a fun time, just because it's fun to, you know, sometimes with your friends, it's fun to kind of have that back and forth.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's fun.
I have, with people who I genuinely like and respect, I actually have much better. But the thing is, see, the difference I find is those that I'm feuding with and we're in that sort of trolling mode, I don't even like or respect their opinions. So they can't even even if they said something fruitful, psychologically I am on the side of ignoring even some of their good stuff, because I am just looking at them as this person that I just want to psychologically abuse and fuck with and then just take down. So I'm not interested in even having a fruitful dialogue. I'm just interested in a fight. Whilst other people, and also, by the way, a lot of them are not good faith actors anyway. They will do and say things to get under my skin rather than actually debate. So I disregard everything they say. Whilst there are other people who I genuinely respect their opinions, respect their ideas, and I will listen to what they have to say, even if I disagree with them, because I know that they are coming from a good faith position. They are genuinely here to express what they think is the correct thing, or what they think is the right aspect or the side of this argument. So it's a bit of a push and pull with a lot of people. I said there's a whole bunch of people, and I'm confessing here, 100%. I am too the absolute asshole on the internet. I've never said that I'm just always a nice guy. I am an absolute prick at times on the
Balanced people are not perfectly nice. That is imbalance.
internet. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not like I can't be an asshole. If necessary, I will be a fucking asshole. But you need to give me a reason, right?
Well,
generally it's good to be nice. But again, the internet is a wild, wild west. So
yes, yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. On the internet, in the real world, this is why I get a lot of shit from people, because I go to Speaker's Corner, and I'm a very different character at Speaker's Corner, because to me, Speaker's Corner is the real world. I'm physically there with people, and so in my real life, I am not the same prick as I am on the internet life. I have a what's it called, alter ego, effectively. The Banksy ego on the internet isn't the person who I am in the real world. I am
but we're not linear people anyways.
Exactly.
Dependent upon the situation, we're gonna do whatever to fit into that situation. There's a survival instinct to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So a lot of people say to me, you weren't like this when you were talking to me at Speaker's Corner. I'm like, dude, that's because at Speaker's Corner, I'm a real human being, and I'm talking to you on a real human being level. On the internet, I am the prick, the inner prick that I always wish to be, but I'm not rich enough or old enough to be. Because my policy on the internet is this. The reason people are the way they are on the internet is because back before the internet, there were two types of people who could truly be the assholes they always wish to be. And that is very rich people, because people kiss their ass and call them eccentric, and very old people, because they got no more fucks to give. Old people are like, I'm going to die tomorrow. Do I really? Yeah. I'm not going to suffer your bullshit.
Yeah.
So those two groups of people were the truly honest people in the world. But the internet has allowed regular people to be the assholes they always wished to be, but they couldn't, because of
the internet is a great way to show you why the fuck we need laws and why we need accountability.
Yes.
Because when you're not accountable and when there's no consequences, you people act like fuckwits.
Exactly.
You go on freaking girls' YouTubes, not me, but like some nice girl who's just, who cares what she's doing? Who cares? Yeah. She's doing her thing. But you're going to call her a skank or a slut. Yeah, because you know deep down she'd never fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down to that survival and reproductive shit, right? And then they hate on that. And it's like
there is that as well. I mean, though, again, I have been that guy too. I went on. I didn't go on some girl's YouTube, no, but I did. I was on the side chat of a girl on a panel, and I started this massive, months long. In fact, it started in the beginning of 2019, and it's to some extent it's still even going now. But I started this feud because I called her a thought. And then it just spiraled out of control from that point.
She didn't take that as a compliment?
No.
I do.
Amazing. No, the thing is, I called her a thought because I thought at the time thought was kind of like you blonde bimbo, your airhead, because she was saying some stupid shit, and I was like, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she said to me, oh, if you I dare you come to Speaker's Corner and say that to my face. So of course I went and said that to her face. Why wouldn't you?
That's funny. Good for you. That's integrity.
And then
you're not the hero we deserve. You're the hero we need.
Yeah. Unfortunately, from that point onwards, it did spark up a very a year-long internet and Speaker's Corner sort of feud between me and her and her boyfriend. But it was hilarious. For me, it was a very, very funny period, and I thought it was great. Now it's kind of ended. We both agreed on just leaving each other alone. And to be honest with you, you can only have these things for so long. Eventually it becomes boring, and it's like you gotta move on. You can only troll someone for so long.
Oh my god, you have no idea, dude. I still have people after me, and it's been like fucking years.
This is I don't get that. Like, people are still at you on your case literally years later. Like, how many years are you gonna hold this stupid little petty grudge?
This is what I say. I'm sorry you love me, and I won't love you back. Hopefully you'll get over it eventually.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a pretty reasonable person, so if you have a problem with me, dude, the problem is actually within you, not with me.
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm always up to talk. You know what I mean? I'll always try and talk first, and if you're not going to show up, or if you're going to be a little bitch about it, well, I'm not putting up with you because I'm a grown adult. I'm a fucking grown woman, okay? I don't have time for this petty shit. Yeah. I got a guitar. I'm going to play that because it sounds amazing. And it's way better than you. So, like, get over yourself.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent, some of this is why I have to let some of these go. I have a policy. It's an old jiu-jitsu policy from doing jiu-jitsu. It says the policy is hold on tightly, but let go lightly. So the minute the thing has passed, the minute in the case of jiu-jitsu, the minute your grip is gone, you let it go. Don't try to scramble and hold on to something that is already gone. So I grip tightly, but I let go lightly. So I don't hold on to these things that are going to be further down the road extremely toxic to my life. Sure, I'll troll, I'll have a bit of a laugh, I'll fuck around, and as long as it's amusing to me, and as long as I find some joy in it, then fine, I'll fuck around. But as soon as I feel that this is now becoming a toxic thing, where it's actually now beginning to negatively impact my life, what am I doing? Why am I holding on to this thing? And to hold on to grudges, hold on to negative feelings to other people, is so toxic to the person who's holding on to, not the person you're expressing it to. It can be toxic for you. Like if I'm constantly, writing shitty text in your chat.
You're willingly drinking poison.
Sorry?
You're willingly drinking poison if you hold on to grudges.
Exactly.
It's just so fucking
So just let it go. And it will, and your life will suddenly lift. It'll be like a weight lifted off your shoulders. And it's a poison, that you're injecting into your own body, into your own mind. And it won't help you. The person you're attacking will either ignore you or will never even acknowledge your existence. So you're not really doing anything to them, even though you might think you are. Everyone on all grounds is losing, and the biggest loser of this whole thing is yourself. Is the person who's holding on to this toxic attitude.
But I also don't want to deny. I don't want to sit here and act like a saint and pretend like it's not fun to make fun of retards on the internet, because it totally fucking is. But the thing is as an individual, you need to be able to discern that it's just a fun thing you engage in and not get emotionally invested in that. It's all about your relationship with the act than it is the act itself. If it's something that you're like thinking about day in and day out, and you like wake up in the morning and you're like, I gotta check my fucking comments, let me see who I can roast right now. It's like, okay.
It is.
I think you're like 51-50. You're out of balance, or 51-40. Oh my god, my
49.
Math right now. 51-49. No, you're out of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, balance.
Yeah. I mean, the people you mentioned in regards to, like, they're still years and years after, still finding your chat or whatever scenario and trying to somehow stick it in you. In all honesty, they have to recognize you're living rent free in their head. This is what I do. I do a self-evaluation. Am I thinking about this individual more than I should? Are they living in my head rent-free? And if they're living in my head rent-free, I'm evicting them. Because no one lives in my head rent-free. So that's how I see it. I do a quick sort of evaluation, psychological evaluation, and go, is this person occupying my thoughts far more than they should?
No.
And are they valuable enough for me to allow them to occupy my thoughts? And the minute I do that, I kind of go, no, what is this moronic shit I'm holding on to? Let it go. That's it. They're done. I mean, for the most part, 90% of internet bullshit and internet trolls, they are only valuable to me till the moment I turn off my computer.
Exactly. Yeah.
The second I turn off my computer, they're gone. their history.
Those people certainly have like what I've dubbed it or call it now is social value. People who behave a certain way that I don't like, that I've run into, that I've, whatever, had problems with or have had problems with me. Yeah. You've provided me with social value insofar as you've now taught me what I don't like, the things I don't like, the things I would prefer to avoid. And I will notice these behaviors leading up to this. If I have a relationship with somebody else or start a relationship with somebody else, friendship, whatever it be, and they're displaying the same patterns. Like you've elucidated a pattern of behavior to me that I can now add to my Rolodex of data in my mind of the things I don't like. And yes, thank you for that. But as far as anything else is concerned, no, that's it. Yes. That's it. You're no longer needed. I no longer need you. And there's some people that are just really fun little, when like a cat catches an animal and then they kind of play with it before they eat it. Like, that's what I like to do. Like, if I think you're like a little mouse or something and I just want to like fuck with you a little bit, because by the way, you came to me, not because I come to you. I don't do that shit. I don't start conflict with people for no reason. Or generally, because I can just talk to you because I'm a fucking intelligent human being and that's good with me. That's how I'm going to treat you. Like you're just a little mouse that I'm pawing in between my fucking claws and I'm going to eat you soon. So
nice. Meow. Well, on that wonderful note of meow, I'm gonna run this thing down because we've gone way over 2 hour mark. We're running to 2.5 hours, so I think this is enough Amy K for you guys out there in the world. We've given you plenty of Amy K. If I let you have any more Amy K, you get greedy and you won't appreciate it. So this is all the Amy K you get for today. Don't eat your greens before you get dessert. There you go. You see? She's eating.
Thanks. It was awesome to talk to you.
It is. We haven't actually caught up.
We didn't actually solve any problems, but maybe next time we can do more solution oriented whenever we're able to chat again.
I think that the conversation itself bears a lot of fruit, and people can sit and think about some of the things that was said, and solutions may emerge from it. Like we give the compost, the bed for this, and plant the seed, and then eventually allow the seed to grow into a solution flower.
Like that you said compost. It's definitely shit.
Well,
but that's what things grow out of, amazingly.
Exactly. If you notice, all my streams are called BS. So everything I say is BS anyway.
I'm the BS thought of the day.
Exactly. My BS thoughts and also BS interviews. I do BS thoughts and BS interviews because everything on this channel is BS. So, guys and girls, I'm gonna end the show at this point. Amy, my darling, just hang back for a minute. I'm gonna have we can have a little wrap up afterwards. But for now, I thank you. And I love you, and it's been awesome. Thank you for coming to the
love
BS.
Each other, bitches.
There you go. Is there anything you wanna mention? Anything you wanna point out? By the way, Amy K 2 has a Spreadshirt store where you can get wonderful mugs. Do you have your mug on your desk?
No, it's in the cupboard over there. Sorry.
Merch.
No, wait. Actually, I'm a liar. It's right fucking here.
We have a merch. Check it out. You see the what? You want to get the what merch? There we go. Shill, baby, shill. We're in a capitalist society. Baby. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end the show now, and
thanks for hanging out, guys. You're super cute.
You are. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Final thoughts. I don't have any final thoughts on this show, on this particular one. It's just Amy. She's awesome, and she's my happy place. I feel better about myself after I've spoken to Amy. that's my final thought right there. Find a friend like Amy that makes you feel better about yourself. If your friends don't make you feel better about yourself after you've spoken to them, they are not the friends you want to keep in your life, because they are dragging you down. They're toxic and they're bringing you down. Try to surround yourself with people that make you feel better about yourself, and just generally encourage you to do things. They say you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires, and that's the final thought of this today. I'm gonna start playing some music.
Bye.